Hey, everybody. GameHounds podcast. I'm here, Edie Sellers. I'm here with Nick and with Andrew. How you guys doing?
Doing okay. Glad to be
Welcome back,
back.
Andrew. We missed you last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Totally.
So, do we have news topics to talk about? I got a few. They're kind of
yeah,
long.
there was some big shit that happened.
There's some very, very, very big shit that happened. So it's probably going to take most of the time. So we're probably not going to hit. If you brought more than 3 items, chances are we're probably not going to talk about it. It's assuming that, oh God, no. That's save some of those for next week or pick your favorites.
Honestly, some of them are short and some of them
Okay.
are like just long notes that I don't forget exactly what I'm talking about. But
Okay. Yeah, no, that's there's a couple of things that are very detailed. I've actually cut back on the amount of news that I have been looking up. Just simply because I know now that there's 3 people doing stuff. It is not just Nick and me trying to hold the place together.
throwing some shade in some named
I
area.
would never. No, I would never do that.
Huh? What?
So, yeah, I'm really. Oh, there's Ryan Stevenson. Yay, we're here. Hey, Ryan. He is watching us on YouTube. Hey, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and also the notification bell below. That will let you know that when we go live. Ryan's in work. It still feels like Wednesday. Really? Well, I don't know where you are, but in Northern California, the weather is fucking weird right now. Like it was 7 degrees yesterday where I live, which is hilariously hot. And where, everybody just closed all of their shades and windows because nobody here has air conditioning. So you just close all the windows up at about like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you just hunker down until it starts to cool off. It didn't cool off until like 8 o'clock last night. I went to bed and I remember waking up at like, I want to say 7 o'clock this morning because I could hear this wind blowing through the windows, which was like it was completely still yesterday. It was just still and hot. And then all of a sudden the thunder and lightning started. And it's been
Ralph was
raining here. No, Ralph was changing. Ralph has taken to, now he closes, he's evolved. Ralph has now closed the window, which is great, but now he's shouting into the toilet. If we can get the combination of not shouting when he throws up and closing the window, life will be good.
See, you guys have it easy. You're like, oh, it's 86. It's so hot. It was like 90 for like 2 weeks straight here, 90 plus, over 100. And then it'll drop down to like 70, 60. And it's like, okay. Then the next day, 90. And then it'll rain.
Yeah, because you're landlocked. See, that's 20 miles that direction. That's why I moved from there. I moved to the coast because I did not want to deal. I mean, don't get me wrong. 20 miles in this direction yesterday was 107 degrees. Yeah, okay. That kind of gives you a perspective. Where they're used to 85, 90 degrees, it was 107. Here, where I live, where it's normally 70, 72 degrees tops, it was 86, and the day before that, it was 91. So it kind of gives you a perspective of range of difference.
It's just been like that a lot. Like, that's the mean here for like most of summer. So I'm just sitting here kind of jealous, a little angry.
Yeah, sorry. That's the reason why I moved here. The day I got out of high school, I would watch the news reports and it'd be like, Concord, 103, Berkeley, 72. It's like, why am I living here? Why do we live here? Why did we move from Berkeley? I liked Berkeley. Berkeley was good weather. This is not. The day I left, the day I got out of high school, I went to San Francisco and I did not look back. San Francisco, shrouded in fog, okay by me.
See, and now the Andrew weather report instead of the goalie weather report. It's 87 degrees here, and it felt cool on my way home. Like, okay, this isn't so bad. I thought it was like 78. No, it's 87 degrees. Yay.
So, yeah. And now it's overcast, intermittent showers where it just dumps rain and then stops, which also is not typical of California, and lightning, which is terrifying right now.
It's very, very frightening.
Yeah, because thunderbolt and lightning, it is very, very frightening. Mamma mia. Because we are so tinder dry right now, and because wildfires are very much a thing here, the idea of widespread lightning strikes is bad. Like,
I'll give you that. We don't have to worry about the earth shaking much. Apparently, like we had the tiniest of earthquakes, or felt like aftershocks, like once or twice, which is crazy because it's never happened before. Where you just feel like, is everything vibrating or is it just me? Like,
I mean, granted, neither do we. Like, if a big earthquake happens, then that's it. But for the most part, everything else is like, yeah, that's fine.
most times it's people are like, oh my God, earthquake. I'm like, oh, I totally missed it.
It's like,
And
dude, it's like, oh, this is cool. It's kind of shaking. Oh, neat. It feels like someone like below me is slamming the door really hard.
Yeah.
Until it's the big one and like half the infrastructure is destroyed.
Right. How old were you with it? Were you even around for the 89 earthquake? Was that before your time, Nick?
No, I was a couple years old. So
Okay.
I
think I have a vague memory of like, I don't know which is true. Part of me feels like I was getting out of a car and something started to shake. And then part of me feels like I was in not grandma's house, but a house that felt like grandma's house. Like in my vague, weird, dream-like memory, it's grandma's house. And there's like a fancy wooden table and a fancy wooden bookcase with plates on it. Like the china plates. And then I think I went under the table, but I don't know. For some reason, those two like snapshot images are associated with earthquakes in my mind, and I don't know why.
So to give perspective of our age difference, I was in college at my university when the 89 earthquake happened, and my boyfriend at the time was at the the San Francisco at Candlestick Park, about to watch the beginning of he was actually had tickets to the World Series.
That's the one factor that I remember is it was A's and Giants. It was
A's Giants World Series. The entire world was here.
And see, I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye yet.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me because, I mean, I was in college. Living on my own. I was in was it a speech class? Yes, it was a speech class called The Politics of Speech. And we had just finished up watching a module about Kent State. And the place started shaking, right? And we're all Californians. It's like, okay, earthquake. So we all just get down, get under the table. And then it didn't stop. And then it didn't stop. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just remember looking up and seeing my instructor's face. Like she was our teacher of a bunch of college kids. And I remember, and she turned white. And a bunch of people had actually stopped in the hall and gotten under the door of our class and were bracing themselves under the door, because that's what you do if you can't find your table. You get under a doorway, and they'd gotten under the doorway in our classroom, and out to the hall. And she looked at them and she grabbed their arms and ripped their arm. I mean, just physically threw them out of the door and ran. She had a full-blown panic attack.
Oh, man.
And we made fun of her for the rest of the school year.
Oh, yeah. She lost all credibility at that point.
Oh, God, yes. She was our instructor. She was our teacher. She was A, had a responsibility to us, and B, she physically assaulted people as she was running out of the building, which is the last thing you need to be doing in a big earthquake. That is a guaranteed way to get yourself hurt or others. So, yeah.
So we don't have to worry about anything like that, or like our landscape literally becoming a hellscape. Like, instead, we'll just get sucked out of our homes like God intended with tornadoes.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a tornado is way more terrifying to me than an earthquake any day of the week.
They're way more common. Like they're every fucking year.
And they always kill someone.
Well, it's not so bad exactly where I live because I kind of live in a weird spot where it's like below a floodplain, so it doesn't really get too bad where I live. They had one
That's good.
tornado the year I was born, and it was named Andrew, and it did some
I
damage.
remember that.
That's
And
prophetic.
that's it.
We will
Hurricane
bring
Andrew
about
was a fucker, was a motherfucker. Hurricane
bring
Andrew
about the tornado
fucked up.
doomsday.
Was it Florida? Yeah, Hurricane Andrew just screwed Florida for a while.
But yeah, so that's all we got to worry about here. Like we had
Trying to
a water
remember
spout.
my joke. What do a Texas tornado? I'm going to piss off somebody with this one. What do a Texas tornado, a Florida hurricane, and an Arkansas divorce all have in common?
Named after women?
Somehow, some way, somebody's about to lose a mobile home.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, should we do a game, like a gaming podcast now?
I mean, we could.
I guess if you want to, if you think it's necessary.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let me roll this back. What the fuck is a water spout?
Oh, it's basically a water tornado. So if a tornado hits water, it will dissipate. It can't stay functioning over water. It might get onto the water, but as it goes like over water, it'll be done. A water spout is literally a water tornado. Tornado forms in the water and literally takes water from the lake and goes up into the sky. And they don't really move. They just kind of happen. And we had one a couple years ago, and there's pictures everywhere. And like, of course, people in our town literally drove up to the lake and were like, "Cool, it's right next to it." Not particularly dangerous if they don't get out of hand. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard of a water spout killing anyone, but yeah, it's essentially a water tornado.
We have a new thing now, California. Now that our wildfires are so
Fire
ferocious.
tornadoes.
Fire nados.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those.
So I think
Not
we should have a
personally,
fire
just
nado
video.
Well,
fight
yeah,
a water spout and just have them fight.
Let them fight.
Let's get ready to rumble.
But yeah, hold on. I will actually find a picture of this real quick.
Okay. See if I can find a video of a fire NATO. Yeah, that's we've only had fire NATOs a couple of times, but it has to. It's more than just what they call the un-PC thing to call them is a dirt devil. The PC thing to call them, especially at Burning Man, is called ancestors, which are the little dust tornadoes that are caused by
those
by rising heat very quickly, usually around big fires. But it's essentially one of those, but it gets big and then it starts to involve the fire, and the fire just starts to swirl in a big cyclone, and it
you
takes
should
out
find a
everything.
fire tornado easily. There was one that happened not too long ago.
Okay, let's see if
I was
get
seeing
this right.
news and stuff about it. There's an article on CNN. Yeah,
Yep, I'm pulling it
today.
up right now, 6 hours ago.
Fire tornado.
All right, so I'm streaming my screen real quick, and this will just give you an idea what a water spout is. It's just a little water tornado.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And it was
So
just
does
kind
it
of
start to rain? Like what happens? Oh, that is bad.
no. It's a tornado. Like it's just suddenly you see a tornado in the distance, and that happened like a mile away from where I live. And you look over, and you're just like, "Oh, what's that? What's that doing there?" Like there's no rain or anything.
that's so weird. Then where does the water go
where
when
does
it
water
gets
go?
sucked up?
Oh, it just gets blown around. Like it's a tornado. It goes up and then out. It's not
Blown
really
into
rain.
space.
It's just more like it blasts the area with water.
All right.
Huh.
What am I? I am sharing. Okay. This is a fire NATO that was filmed. So yeah, that is a fire that just essentially turns into a big tornado, and it's just a fire.
I
And
imagine that's just 'cause of the
burning
air pressures.
everything. Yeah, it has to do with everything rapidly moving up as quickly as
seen-
possible. Just
I've
that
seen-
level of heat.
seen pictures of people driving through like a wildfire, and it is terrifying inside there.
Oh,
Like,
Oh yeah,
Like-
those pictures,
Oh, yeah.
those videos of people driving through that looks fake because it looks like a hellscape. It really
Yeah.
does. Everything about those.
yep. I had a couple of friends that escaped from their apartment building from the Oakland Hills fire. And yeah, it was a hellscape where they were driving over fire, and some people behind them, their tires melted and they died.
yeah,
And
no, it's
every man for himself at that point. You
It's
don't
crazy.
stop. And it's a matter of luck in some ways of whether you get out or not.
and it's
That's why
kind of strange
fire is
because
so scary.
you don't think it would be like you should have plenty of warning to like get away from a fire, but they happen so quickly. Because like
They happen so quickly, and they like, and especially under windy conditions, and when fire starts to create their own weather conditions, they travel faster than you can than a horse can run. They travel faster than most people can drive on roads.
And you don't really think about that. Like when you see a fire spread, like in a house or something, it takes a while for that stuff to get going. But
That's a
like
house.
with
Wildfire,
the wildfire. Yeah.
boom. You go from no fire to fire in a matter of seconds. And like not just little fire, like big fire you cannot control.
Mhm.
So yeah. So let's move on to happier subjects like games. Except we freaking lost Nick.
Yeah, and I kind of need him for the gaming segment. Oh, there he is.
All right. So Nick, oh god, we have to get you your haircut, dude. You really need a haircut.
He barely has any hair yet.
Nick, can you hear
Barely
me?
have any hair.
Yeah, like you don't need a haircut yet. You look
Yeah.
fine.
Fine.
It needs to be down to his shoulders.
Yeah.
No, he cuts it himself beforehand, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
You
it's
really need
fine.
a professional cut.
Yeah, looks good.
It's fine.
All
See?
right. You want to start
Bro,
the show?
yeah. It's
Terrible
fine.
timing.
Who cares? Yeah. What? There's a delay, a lag in the.
The feed, yeah.
All right. So we got Ryan Stevenson in the chat room. We got Corey in the chat room. How you doing, Corey? Got AC, of course. We ready?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do this shit.
Discusses video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
All right. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. I am seeing something I have never seen on the podcast. It says broadcasting error. Hey, AC Wraith, can you do me a favor? Can you pop over to this? Actually, I'll do it. Pop over to the Spreaker channel and see if we're actually broadcasting. It's on the actual audio feed because it says broadcasting error to me, and I've never seen that before.
I see a thing that says live.
Let's take a look and
Oh,
see if
he
it's
said the
actually
live
going.
broadcast was just terminated again, but will be available in a few minutes.
Okay, so yeah, that is not right. Huh? Okay. You know what? Let's start that show again. Okay, yeah, no. All right, so apparently it did not go. So you want to try this again? Looks like we're gonna have to do
Yeah.
it again. All right. So go on.
Do you remember your lines, Nick?
No.
Live. Oh, I've got to retype this whole thing. All right.
Of all the years I've been here, if you asked me to recite that intro by memory, I could not do it.
Really? I am
Yeah.
disappointed. Is there anybody here who cannot? I mean, all of our listeners, I think you all
Like-
can.
I need
Like-
the soundtrack.
Just
I
as
can't-
I was
Yeah.
doing, as you were just doing it, I was like, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know they said, that they said do your homework. I thought it was just take out the trash.
Really? Yeah, and I was just actually thinking about how
These people are big fat potty mouths.
If you're
And
younger
your
than
mom says, "Oh, and you're younger than 18?"
Please
Or-
turn.
or easily offended, please stop the podcast
Yes.
now.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
And your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
See?
All right, where are we? I'm trying to go to. I have to get rid of the fucking last show and erase it. I'm sorry, this is taking so long. Really, did Nick just bail on us again?
It's fine. We have like 10 minutes before we actually have to start the show, and then we'll be on time at 30 minutes live.
This is so bad. All right, why can I not please take me to my freaking dashboard, please? To the GameHounds show, please. Okay, it's not showing up because this is episode 558, right? Yeah, okay. It did not show up. It did not. Okay. Sorry, this is so boring, but I had everything all done early. That's what I get for doing everything early.
So I totally thought that the cat not having the diaper was a positive improvement and not just something that should have.
No. I saw that cat without the diaper and I was like, is that supposed to be?
I was gonna mention it, but we were talking about other stuff. I was gonna be like, "Oh, that's nice.
Me too. Same thing.
The cat's getting better."
No, the cat is definitely never going to get better. He doesn't get. You know why he has a diaper on, right?
Incontinence, I'm assuming.
No, because he'll spray. Because he can't get neutered.
He can't?
No, because he's got a heart problem. So if he goes under that, if they give him any kind of anesthesia,
he might die.
So that's why they can't neuter him, which is why he wears a diaper to keep him from spraying the house.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they had to go chasing after him. Sometimes he was really good for the past couple months. Like I could let him wander around without a diaper and he wouldn't spray. But then like past 2 weeks, he started spraying a bit more. So I'm like, okay, diaper's got to go back on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's,
at least when I can't watch him, like now.
That can ruin stuff like quickly.
Well, thankfully, most of the stuff is hardwood, so it cleans up easy. But at the end of the month, I'm going to be moving to another apartment that's more carpet. So.
Ooh. Yeah, I was just telling Edie, I was like, "Oh, the cat doesn't have a diaper on. The cat's getting better." Not. I should warn Nick that cat does not have a diaper on.
Well, I knew I had just put a diaper on him last time I left. Then he came over to the litter box and started to poop. So I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, fine. I'll take it off. He pooped, and then I'm like, okay, it's got to go back on. And of course, he bolts. It's like, okay, gotta chase you down.
All right, we ready? Let's try this again.
And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
All right, mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 558. We are recording on August 16th, 2020. Sorry, we are late. We had some technical difficulties. We started recording the show and then it stopped recording. But it's okay. We're back. We're here. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith. How you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty
Good.
You guys want to
talk?
talk?
Like 8 minutes ago.
I am upset. I got an email.
Are you fucking with me? Seriously?
What?
Nick?
What?
Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear you.
Are you
I hear
messing
you.
with me?
No.
I hear
You're
you.
not messing with me.
No.
I can hear you. What the fuck?
Oh my God. Really?
You can't hear us?
Okay, so fuck, what the hell is going on? What is going on today? I can see that you're actually making sounds because you have waveforms, but I can't hear you.
Nick, no.
You guys are. Oh my god.
Now you're muted, Nick. You were fine.
You know what? I
before.
am just.
There you go.
You hear me now?
Look at this.
Andrew clearly can.
Yes.
Got it. Figured it
Okay.
out. Figured it out.
Okay, good. So it wasn't me.
No, it was me. It was actually me. In the
Okay.
process of making you go live, I had a button. I'm like, all right, this has to be me. I have to be the solution. Hi, how are you?
For the third time, pretty good. As good as like a
I'm-
few minutes ago.
I am
Yeah,
good, but I'm
good.
upset because I recently got an email that said Google Play Music is going away. And that's what I use to stream a lot of music while I work. And it's being replaced with YouTube Music, which I've tried out, and it's just not as good. It's
Nick, you gotta get with the times. Either Pandora if you want random music, or Spotify.
no. I don't want
Yes.
to pay for a subscription. I pay for the music. I buy that music, and I want to be able to play it.
But I mean, do you buy more than 10 songs a month?
Yes.
Then
do too.
like Spotify is perfect.
No, I want to own my shit.
I mean, unless Spotify goes bankrupt, you'll be fine.
Nah, I don't want to pay a subscription. Not for music.
I don't pay a subscription for Spotify.
Yeah, it's free, but like there's ads if it's free.
Yeah, and I really don't get that much ads.
It's like
I'd still
one every
rather
15
buy
songs.
Pandora gives ads the fuck out of you, but
Yeah.
Spotify really doesn't.
Even when buying music, Amazon recently changed their MP3 store so that there's no longer an MP3 card. Like there's only they want you to open their web app, their iTunes-esque web app, and buy things through that. You can buy things through the website, but you have to buy albums at a time. You can't even buy individual songs. And oh fuck that. But then I actually went to buy something on Bandcamp, and I realized they do a cool thing where the first Friday of each month, they don't take a cut of any music that you buy.
Nice.
It all goes to the artist.
So it's a free for all Fridays,
yeah. And I
at
was
least for the artists.
yes. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay. I sort of did a search for all the people that I want on Bandcamp and bought like $50 worth of stuff from
Nice.
there.
I might actually should probably pick stuff up through Bandcamp
See.
because I buy at least $10 of music a day for the podcast that I do, the daily podcast that I do for our neighborhood. So yeah, I probably should do it through Bandcamp because I've been doing it through iTunes Music, and they take.
See,
a
that
big cut.
is really cool with Bandcamp, but man, you should just try Spotify. Like, trust me.
Like I have Spotify, I have an account, and like I have playlists and stuff there. And it's mainly like I discover most of my music through YouTube, and if I find a band or album I like, I'll put it on the Spotify list. But then if I actually care about the band, I'll buy the album.
That's fair.
Fair. All right. So how are you guys? Let's get on to some talking games. We've been talking for a half an hour now, and not even mentioned any games. So Nick and I played. Did you play it as well with me? Fall Guys?
Not yet.
Andrew? I can't
Oh.
rember.
No.
I
Okay,
want
I thought
to,
you were
but
doing
I've
something
seen it.
else.
We did Fall Guys. And I've been playing a little bit of it. Not every night, but most
Okay,
nights.
hold on. This is the apartment complex.
Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
This podcast is cursed.
Oh my god. What is going on? So, yes, Nick and I played Fall Guys. I've been playing a couple times, not every night, but on most nights I'll play a couple of games. It's fun. It's good. It grows on you. Like the first few times you're like, I hate this. I just fail at it. And then the more you play it, the more like you get used to the tricks of the trade. Some of the matches are easier than others. Some of them I look forward to. Some of them I've gotten kind of the hang of that I hated at the beginning. There's one called Seesaw that I fucking hated. But the nice thing is that those ones that you hate you hate them because they're really hard. And other people also have trouble with them as well. So some of them are fairly easy, which means it's just run and don't fuck up because it's going to be over in 30 seconds.
Don't
which is
look back.
nice. Yeah,
Look
some
back.
of them are individual. Like it usually starts out in a rhythm where it starts as an individual race, and then from 60 goes down to about 41. Then a second one is usually an individual race, and that goes from 41 to like 25. And then it starts going into team matches,
I
and
saw a
then
headline.
finally ending up in an individual match. And it's pretty freaking fun it's a nice other nice thing about it. It's pretty freaking fun to watch, especially if it's somebody that you're playing with. Now, as an individual playing it, meh. Like I'm not that interested in watching other people do it.
Yeah.
It's all right playing it individually. It's kind of a nice doodler. But playing it as a group, it's super fun because if you get eliminated and somebody else doesn't, then you can watch the other person go through it, which is what we did on the stream. So yeah, if Fall Guys as a free game is awesome, I would be kind of a little pissed with myself if I paid any money for it, but it's definitely worth a free game.
And I saw an article that was like, everyone hates Yellow Team, but it's not going anywhere. For whatever reason. And they said they were going to swap out like maps and game modes and change them up every so often. So that'll be cool.
Yep. Kaz says, AC Wraith says, Kaz from the Rumble Pack invited me to Fall Guys on Steam for some reason, but I had to tell him I don't have it. Why don't you have it? It's free. It's free on PlayStation. Right. And it's definitely worth it. I have seen videos of people playing it on PC that there's definitely cheating going on. Big time mods and cheats and people doing terrible things like flying over everybody and getting to the or some kind of speed adjustment speed mod that allows people to just run 10 times faster than everybody else. But fortunately that's not a thing on the PlayStation. It is only a thing on Xbox or sorry on PC.
Who'd want to cheat at that game? Like,
that
come
sucks.
on.
Yeah.
Because cheaters gonna cheat.
That's true.
Cheaters gonna cheat. Nick, I was saying that it's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's not the greatest game ever. I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
I think it is a great transition game. Like, it's a great chill thing to do. It's the kind of game that I'll pop on and play a couple rounds and then go and play something else. Like, it's a nice thing when I just feel like something to play, but I don't really want to like invest a lot of thought or effort or energy into it. That's what I'll play.
Fantasy.
What I started doing, the second season of Umbrella Academy came out on Netflix, and I thought it's an okay show. I enjoyed the first season enough, but I was like, I didn't really want to sit down and watch the second season. So what I did is I started playing it on my tablet and then started playing Fall Guys on the TV. And that was a perfect combination of like, whenever something important is happening in the show, I'll pause it, do the thing I need to in Fall Guys, and then unpause the show to get it. And so I was able to like, it helps make the downtime between Fall Guys more interesting. And also, like, Fall Guys is such a simple game that I can kind of half pay attention to it and still do pretty well. Because at this point, I've played it enough that a lot of those early races, those race courses, I just kind of go on autopilot.
That it does a disrespect for Umbrella Academy, but we'll leave that alone for now. Just I need to point that out. It is a great show.
It's okay. It's no magicians.
Yeah, it's true. I have not watched this season's new season, but we've got that. Yeah, we did something to finish up first.
I've been enjoying the hell out of this game, and I've played it enough that I can regularly get to at least 4 or 5 stages, and I've won enough that it's like it's still exciting, but it's like, okay, I know I can do this. I can win this. Let's do it. But I still think also it's the kind of game that if you focus too hard on winning, you won't have a good time. Like what just happened in this video. He tried to go through the wrong door, and the right door was like, 3 doors to the left, and all of a sudden he went from being in first place to last place almost. And so
Yeah.
if you worry too hard about stuff like that, you're bound to have a bad time. Just like those stupid game shows, like you have to watch it and you have to play it with the mentality of, I just want to see stupid shit happen. I want to see people bounce off of each other. And if I go from first place to last place, you just laugh at the stupid dumb luck that is, and just enjoy it. And I think that's why I'm having a lot of fun with it, is because it's a game that I don't have a bad time with it, because even when things are going bad, that's part of the good time. And so it's not like playing some other games where if something goes wrong, it's frustrating and you want to try to beat it. It's like, nah, I'm just going to smack some dumb little guys into each
It's
other.
a party game rather than like a competitive game.
Yeah.
How much have you played, Nick? Are you playing it every night, or are you playing it just a little bit?
Like every other night or so. Sometimes every night, at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So any other games? Oh well, we talked about you guys. Was it you and Steve, or was it you and Andrew? I can't remember which Twitter thread said go download the Marvel beta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was me and Nick.
Yeah.
We played that.
I
played it with Jay.
downloaded that. I was what are your thoughts before I get to mine?
I think that game makes a very bad first impression. I think those opening levels, the opening levels where you switch between all the characters is fun enough because it's very linear and about all the spectacle of what's going on. But then the next level that you play has the Hulk going through an AIM facility. I don't think it does a good job of explaining, like, the problem with the Hulk is that he's, the Hulk. He's this big tank-like character that you want to just go up and run around and smash things. But the way that level works is there's all these guys, all these robots around you, both melee and shooty guys. And I was focused so much on the melee guys, the shooty guys kept killing me because they were far away. And it's just the idea of, oh, here's a little robot and the Hulk's going to smash him and take out half his health. It's like, shouldn't all these be one-hit kill, really? Like, it's the Hulk. But then what I realized afterwards, something Jay said as we were playing later, is that each character has something called a heroic ability. And that's a meter that fills up. And if you hold R2, you'll be able to do different special moves. The Hulk special move is basically when you're holding R2, any attack that you receive refills your health. And so knowing that now, I'm interested in going back and replaying as the Hulk.
I didn't know that because that didn't fucking explain it. It says
so. It says there, but it doesn't say like it refills the health.
No, it doesn't say refill the health. Let's back that up, and we will get to that. It says it drains intrinsic. Let's see, damage taken while rage is active drains intrinsic rage energy instead of reducing willpower. It doesn't say anything about increasing.
Yeah, like it increases damage and
increases the damage.
I'm basing this off of what Jay said.
And it takes out it doesn't. Let's see, rage is active. It drains rage energy instead of willpower. Is willpower health? Because that's a big thing to explain.
I think willpower is health, which is like,
Yeah.
why not just fucking say health?
Why not call it health?
So a lot of the
Jesus.
game, it poorly explains itself, and that leads to me, basically, when I was playing with Chaos, of saying, yeah, Hulk's a fucking wimp. He's just a little pansy-ass bitch. Like, the Hulk is just such a weak character, and I hated playing as him. Not only that, but I think the level that you play as him with is poorly designed. I found it very confusing. I got turned around a lot.
Yeah.
Which I
that's
now
not just me.
realize.
I was thinking that it was me because I got
No,
to this level and I failed it 3 times, and their loading screen on this beta is so fucking slow. It's almost punitive. And I'm like, maybe
Hate
it's
it.
me. I don't
Mm.
want to complain about how I can't get through an early opening level. Maybe
Oh no,
it's
I was
me.
I was cursing the fuck out of this game when I was playing
Okay,
this level.
good. All right. So it wasn't just me.
Also,
No.
these levels do not do a good job of showing you what this game is about.
No.
Like later on, when you open up to having teammates, the level design is not linear like this.
Yeah,
At all.
it's much more open and free for all.
Not to mention, they don't tell you how to use the tactical camera yet, which is like huge because if you press up on the D-pad, it'll literally show you a waypoint of where to go. Which
Yes, that's the
seems
important thing too. Up on the D-pad sends a little signal that shows you where to go, which would be really helpful in the confusing levels.
So yeah, this is more
I'm
of a
now angry at this game for this.
Yeah.
That I was when it was bad enough when it was like I was just feeling bad. It's not you, it's me. And it's actually no, it's not me, it's you. Now I'm angry at it.
So, after I passed this level, I played some with Andrew and Jay, and I found it way more fun. I started playing as Miss Marvel, who's the stretchy character, and I love her. She's a great character to play with, because she exists in this kind of in-between space between a melee and a ranged character, because she can stretch, has a superpower. So her punches and her kicks have a farther reach than like Hulk or Black Widow, which are the other playable characters, because they have to get up close to someone. And so I found that really enjoyable. And just the moves that she has, the stretchy moves, if you hold R2, she will automatically dodge most incoming attacks by, stretching out of the way in a way that's really fun. Excuse me. And so with her, with the more open levels, with playing with humans who are way smarter than the AI, that helped me, it helped me see what the game actually offers. And being able to, I switched up and played a couple different characters and realized, okay, there actually is some neat differences in how they play. Like Miss Marvel, because she can stretch and she has that range, I found it very easy to go around and just focus on wiping the floor with people. But Black Widow, because she has to get up close to people, her special ability is a grappling hook that will latch onto someone and pull her towards them. And that's really cool because of the way that close the distance and the fact that you can grapple to a guy in the air, kick punch until he's dead, grapple to another guy in the air, kick punch and then he's dead, grapple someone on the ground. And in a lot of ways, Black Widow is Spider-Man in this game. I imagine Spider-Man will play pretty close to how she plays. But that's also very different than what the Hulk feels like, very different than what Iron Man feels like. And so there actually is this nice difference in characters. Like they don't just feel like skin rehashes, copy paste. It's not like, oh, they all have a weak attack and a light attack, and a heavy attack, and you're just doing the same combo with different characters. Like, no, each of them plays differently in a way that's actually interesting.
And I mean, that is relatively true when you start. It is pretty much just square, triangle, and it is a bit button mashy. But there's apparently a lot of skills that you open up that'll change that up quite a bit. which is good.
Yeah, and even those skills, like at its core, this is just a button mashy game. Like at its core, it's a beat 'em up. Do either of you remember that old X-Men arcade game? It was like the super wide screen, double screened. You could play as like all classic X-Men characters in the
Right.
arcade. And it was kind of Double Dragon-esque in that it's a side scroller and you're moving around, you're just mashing the attack button to beat people up and occasionally doing a special move. Like that's what this game is at its core. It's a beat 'em up. And yes, there's a lot of different moves involved. There's a whole gear system that's honestly kind of confusing and feels a little weird. I'll get to that in a second. But at its core, like this is just a classic beat 'em up game. It's not meant to be that advanced or that complicated. And so if you're looking for something really more RPG-ish, I don't think it's that. I think it's a lot of money spent on a simple game.
Honestly, to the contrary, so I did a little looking up on this, and the beta is like only a portion of the game. It doesn't actually get into a lot of depth that the actual game will have.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. There is a very heavy gear focus mechanic in this, and that it's going to be like Diablo, where you're going to be hunting down
It does feel a
gear
lot like Diablo.
and trying to make builds, because you'll get legendary stuff that'll be character specific, and it'll change up abilities and what they do. And you're gonna, if you're playing solo, it's going to be about getting the right gear and having your AI teammates fill up a role.
Mhm.
And there are more skill trees than are in the beta currently. A lot of them are focusing, and a lot of them are focusing around support actually. So you could have somebody who's a support character, someone who's playing a tank, because the Hulk's ability like actually pulls aggro and with your health regeneration, which is better than most of the other characters. He fills the role of the tank.
And I did realize last night I said there wasn't a healer. Turns out the character I was playing, Miss Marvel, is a healer. Because one of her abilities, I thought it only healed me, but it turns out it heals anyone within a radius.
So there's going to, and yeah, that's my point. Like, there's going to be a heavy team aspect to this. Like, if you're solo, it's going to be about customizing the team and the way you want to play. The example that was given in the article I was reading was taking Iron Man, who could play both close quarters or distance, turning him into a long-range support character by giving him certain gear, and then having his blasters turn people, combining with Pym particles, which make people smaller. And that's a debuff that increases damage dealt to them and increases stuns, like the duration and effectiveness of stuns. So you can make that character, who's an AI, just in the back, blasting people away while you're sitting there fighting everyone. And you can do that with every character, and it's going to get, like, every character is going to get a wide variety of gears and setup, and each ability is going to have, like, 3 different types for it. Like, with Iron Man was the example given a lot. His ultimate attack will have one where it shoots a beam for longer, so you do more damage over time. A quick, powerful burst that won't do as much damage, but you can move right after. Or one that'll, like, focus on doing stun and keep them crowd control longer. And you can do that with most of the abilities and kind of make your team how you want. And if you're playing with people, you can work together to do that as well.
I wonder if it was just a bad idea to start the beta at level 1 rather than, let people start at like level 20 or so they can play around with these mid-tier combinations and actually get a sense of that. Because right now, looking at the gear, I can see, it's got all these different stats and stuff, but it's like, well, I don't know. This one has a higher number on it, and so that seems like the best one. I'll just go with that.
And that often happens when you're dealing with a beta, where it's just like, all right, I'm just going to get a higher number because no matter what I get, there's going to be something better. And you don't really invest in that with a demo or beta. So, but like when you're playing the game, it's going to be like the actual game. It's going to be like Destiny, where you're hunting down gear and you're hunting down builds and you're trying to do certain things with your characters.
So that does bring me to my one serious complaint about the gear and the whole loot system,
Okay.
is that it's completely invisible in that you don't see any of that gear reflected on your character.
Okay.
Basically, whenever you get a piece of gear, it's associated with some aspect of your character. Like with Ms. Marvel, when you look at her gear, there's always 4 different types. And it's like, oh, here's an arm. And she'll the character model will lift up her arm and you'll see the bracelet and it will kind of be highlighted, reflecting like, oh, this is what you're changing. You select another one and it's like an armband. Select another one and it's her vest. Select another thing and it's the icon on her shirt. But you change that gear and the character model stays the exact same because the cosmetics are completely separate. You can change costumes, but that requires you to basically level up in this battle pass-esque, I don't know, weekly, monthly, season-long thing. They actually gave you, at the beginning of the beta, they give you currency so that you can skip through all that. And so I actually ended up just buying all of Miss Marvel's complete battle pass so I could, give her whatever costume I wanted. But it feels like such a disappointing thing for a loot-based game to put all this effort into finding loot and into finding something that's orange, that's legendary, and going, oh, this is cool. I want to put this on. And then clicking select, equip, and nothing changes. And it feels very empty. Like I want to dress the character up, right? That's kind of what these games are about. This whole
Right.
loot is about finding stuff that looks cool on the character. And the fact that you can't do that at all, and at most you can just buy different costumes. Like I said, it feels kind of empty and it feels really disappointing. And I wonder if part of that, I remember way back when Battlefront 2 was dealing with its microtransaction mess. One of the things the developers said was they originally wanted to have cosmetics in the loot boxes, but Disney was like, nah, man,
Yeah,
we
you
don't
can't
want
mess
you
with the
doing that.
character.
We don't want a pink Darth Vader running around.
Right.
And I wonder if they ran into the same thing here, which
That's exactly what I was thinking.
is so
And it is
disappointing.
It's Disney saying that they don't want you to alter what a certain superhero looks like, which almost makes me wish that they created the universe but allowed you to create your own superhero
yeah.
so that you could mess with the way that the superhero looks.
But
But then you
It's-
wouldn't be
it's-
playing your favorite character.
but it's
very
one of those
frustrating.
things where
Like if you put armor on the Hulk, his character model would look awesome. Like
Mhm.
yeah, and like the gear with the Hulk is weird because you're like buying new spines, buying a new rib cage for him to get better. It's like, wait, what? And
like
the thing is, like, the way that they justify the gear, cosmetically, narratively, I don't know how you want to say it, but like I said, Miss Marvel has like a bracelet, an armband, a vest, and the logo. Black Widow has like a belt, a wrist, a vest, and other things. Like you can change those aspects cosmetically on the character without really altering what they look like. So you could have a whole variety of customizable gear without, having a pink Iron Man flying around. Like you can control what the cosmetics are to a degree that hopefully wouldn't go against that character in a way that pisses Disney off. But I think that they're just so restrictive with what they want to do. It's just so disappointing. I found it really disappointing to the point whenever I got new gear, I was just like, eh.
And yeah, I can see that. I mean, you're right with loot-based games. Like there is a cosmetic aspect to it that you're like, I want to look a certain way, and it does feel kind of just like you're messing with stats rather than gear.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. I'm interested. I've always like,
What the fuck are you doing? He's crawling on the door. Get down. Fucking
This is why you can't have a cat.
monkey cat.
No, I want a monkey cat.
Fucking
That sounds
monkey
great.
cat. I mean, it's a
and
good
then it would
thing.
become the Monkey Cat podcast. No.
I mean, at least it's a good thing that the road that's hanging on the door he was crawling on is like there to be crawled on. Basically, it's not something that I wear. It's like, yeah, okay, cat, you can fuck that up all you want, but I turn around and sort of fuckers.
I don't know. I liked it. There were some weird things, like the graphics to me. I kept bringing this up, and I wasn't really agreed with, but they look nice, but for some reason feel old to me. Like they're not the best graphics in the world, but they look nice enough. And I can't tell why.
I get that. I feel like it looks like any other game. And a lot of the complaints people had is that the character models look just close enough to the MCU, but it's not them, that people are kind of upset and the voices are kind of different. And I agreed with that from the beginning. Like when I first saw him, I was like, Captain America looks really generic. And I was like, yeah, Bruce Banner, he could sound a little nerdier. He sounds a bit too, handsome Troy Baker. But after like a couple missions, I didn't notice that.
After like
anymore.
5 minutes, like it wasn't even important anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things that was a big deal when it was first revealed, but once you actually play it, you just kind of forget about it, and this just becomes another iteration of these characters that already have 1,000 iterations behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I always like games like this, like the loot base games, and it's going to be fun to play with Marvel characters while doing it. So I'm kind of on board, and if I have a friend get it or two, I'll be picking it up, because apparently it's gonna be like Destiny or any other Division or any loot-based game where there's going to be in-game raids and stuff, and it's going to be about customizing your team and powering it up. And I'm up for that. I mean, it should be cool, and playing with friends, you can actually build a team and have fun. And those mechanics are universally great if there's enough uniqueness to them.
It's interesting you brought up Division, because I just realized a lot of the loot you get in the Division also doesn't change your character.
No,
It's
that's
like,
all like cosmetic.
you got a new backpack, and like, yeah, if I get a new backpack and it's better, the model of the backpack does change. The model of my knee pads does change, but it's like, it's a fucking knee pad. I don't care what my knee pads look like. And even in that game, it's like, oh, I got a white shirt and I got a blue shirt. Yeah, I'm gonna dress myself up. It's like, the whole loot-based system of that game is inherently just about stats and numbers. Like the cosmetics are completely meaningless. So there is precedent for a loot-based game that doesn't look at the cosmetics in the same way. But it's because it's the Marvel characters, I want to play around with them more. I want to treat them as action figures.
And it would be cool, like, if you're changing Iron Man's armor to see different kinds of suits, like, that he has, instead of, like, buying those costumes, just using those pieces from that suit. So you can kind of mix and match suits.
I would love it if something like the system in Elder Scrolls, where you get a piece of armor, and it's like, this is part of a set. And so I then have to go out and try to find the other pieces of that set, so that when I get a set that's consistent, a full body set costume, it feels like an accomplishment because I worked hard to get all those pieces of armor. It's like, yes, I look this way because I went out and grinded all this equipment.
Yeah.
So
ultimately, I'm on board though. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get it, but I'll play the beta again. I want to play some different characters because I put a lot of time into Miss Marvel. And now she's far and away higher than any other character. So
give Hulk another try, I guess.
I want to try Hulk a bit. I did like Black Widow and her grappling hook. I thought that was really fun.
I actually really enjoyed Thor a lot.
Thor was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm upset that he's not in the beta at large.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Because I mean, the throwing of the hammer, and then like you throw it at one guy and then you aim at another guy and then you recall the hammer and take him out too, was awesome.
The feedback for hammer throwing was amazing. Like, I cracked a smile and I was cheesing so hard when I threw the hammer for the first time, and you just see the guy literally like he is gone. Not only that, but like they are murdering the crap out of people. Like they are leaving a
Yeah.
trail of dead bodies in their wake. Like you throw that hammer at a human being, which what these people were, and they're not getting back up.
Which
We-
makes me mad that Hulk is pounding on people and it's taking him 3 hits. It's the Hulk. He should be turning them into pink mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
No. Like that was one of the first things I mentioned. I'm like, how are these people getting back up? You can literally pick somebody up and throw them, but if you punch them, they're fine.
Mhm.
Maybe we need to play a game that is the villains because apparently they are awesome. The nameless random villains that can stand being punched into the ground by the Hulk and
Just
get up
watch.
and then keep shooting.
Just watch one of those humans catch Hulk's fist and be like, what the hell's going on? Do these guys have superpowers?
Matter
No.
of time. So, any other games that we played this week?
Yes.
Lucy Ray says we need the Overlord game. We need an Overlord game.
I'm going to get into League of Legends. Actually, no. I have been playing that, but that's not what I'll talk about because that's boring. I have been playing a game called Hades. And it is...
I know Hades. That's still in early access, right?
Yeah, and it's coming out soon. Like, they have plans to release the 1.0. And I had a friend who was gifted it, and, like, ever since she was gifted it, slowly everyone in the friend group has been picking it up, and, like, it's been spreading. And now, like, 6 people have bought it, and we're all in one party chat, like, discussing stuff as we're playing the same game. It's a lot of fun. It's a roguelike, much like Sentimental K that I was mentioning, where in this one, you choose a weapon, 1 out of 6, and you go through the levels of Hades. In this case, it's Tartarus, Asphodel, and Elysium, and then you go up to the surface, and you have a few things to do up there. And your goal as the character is to get out of Hades. You're the son of Hades himself, and you're trying to find your mom. So yeah, you choose your weapon, and as you're going through, you get various boons and upgrades. And in this case, other gods are helping you. Zeus, Aphrodite, Dionysus, which is the one he just went into, which has been lovely named Daddy Dio in our group. I think it's hilarious. He is the god of wine and parties.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Daddy
Also
Dio.
known as Bacchus. In let's see, Dionysus would be Greek and Bacchus would be Roman.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
But just the way the character looks, like, which you'll probably see at the end of this fight. And yeah, you go from room to room, and you sometimes have multiple rooms you can choose from that have a reward. So you kind of choose which one you want to go to. Like, I need more darkness, which is a currency that you level up that lets you do, like, your character that keeps between levels, upgrades. Emeralds, which you buy renovations for the House of Hades, and then a few other things like keys, etc. That's Dionysus, Daddy Dio. His stuff's pretty good, but each god has kind of a theme. Like Zeus is obviously lightning. Dionysus is a poison DOT setup, and they all have multiple different boons. And if you have multiple gods helping you, you can get a boon that's a duo of both gods helping you, like one that combines certain effects. So a lot of fun. A lot of fun to go through all this. The crazy thing about it, because it is your typical like roguelike game, is there is a lot of social aspect to it that is fantastic. So whenever you die, your character actually dies and he goes back to the River of Styx, and you just walk out basically into your home like, well, fuck, I didn't make it this time. And the characters will be like, oh, this person killed you. That's hilarious. They're kind of strong, or they're weak, or you'll kill one of the bosses, which is an ex-girlfriend, and you'll go talk to her after you died that run. And they're like, wow, you couldn't beat them, but you beat me. Like,
I know this is the new game from Supergiant, the guys that did Bastion, Transistor,
Mm-hmm.
and what was the latest one? It was like the sports ball. No, they did. It was like a oh fuck, what's this one? But their writing is universally excellent.
Yeah, and it
so,
is. It is
yeah, it's
top notch here. You get a bunch of like just Greek characters as you're going through the various gods and stuff, and they're just making comments as you die or what weapon you're using, or like there's also a relationship aspect to it where you can build up your relationships with people from like a resource that you get in, and they all have their own stories, and it's really well done for like a roguelike that's surprising, and it's honestly really charming.
Pyre. AC Wraith in the chat remind me it's Pyre.
It's $25, I believe, and if you're into roguelikes, I absolutely recommend it. It's a fantastic game.
This is one of those games. I don't like roguelikes, but I like everything Supergiant does, and so I've been looking forward to this since they announced it. Because they announced it a couple years ago. It has an early access game, and I know they've been working on it since then.
And it is early access still, but it is pretty damn well fleshed out, and they're going to be moving on to their 1.0 actual release here soon.
Yeah, I know. I think it's scheduled to come out sometime this year.
But I bought it, and within like 4 days had 25 hours into it. Like I was playing it a lot. And yeah, it's just great overall. Plenty of builds, like plenty of diversity as you play through each level. And with the 6 different weapons, there's a lot of different playstyles that all feel unique. And there are ways to upgrade the weapons that through the run, they'll do different things. So as you're playing, the weapons also have different customizations that are just unique and allow you to expand to like what you're doing and how you want to play.
That's cool.
Any other games?
I beat Blasphemous this week, and I love that game. I'm really, really glad that I played it. Everything about that game speaks to me on a very personal, like aesthetic level. I love its type of religious themed body horror. That's right up my alley. It's like, oh, this is messed up in a kind of way that I just love to see, and it felt so good to play. Like one of the things that's important in these type of games is the dodge, and right away, the dodge was great because very early on in the game, you fight a boss, or at least a big character that kind of seems like a boss. And the dodge immediately lets you get to the other side of him, which is important because it's a 2D game. And that means you travel a fair distance. And that's what I love. Personally, when dodging in a game, I want that character to dive like they're trying to get out of the way of a train. I want them to just leap. And so there are so many games where the dodge is just like, a little tiny step to the side. And always that just bothers me on a very core level. It just doesn't feel good. And so right away, the maneuverability of being able to get around enemies so easily made this game really sing for me control-wise, and it just stayed that way to the end. And yeah, I really loved it, and I'm happy to have played it. I think it's definitely worth enough that I bought it on sale, but I would recommend if you like these type of games, just pick it up whenever you can because it's worth it.
It looks like strong Castlevania like themes.
Kind of, but a bit more fucked up. Like think the gothic horror of Castlevania layered with like a good heaping of, like I said, religious themed body horror of like self-torture treated in a way that is holy.
It looks fun. Like this is something I'd be into, but I'm into most things. I'm pretty easy, so.
Like I said, for this type of game, this was 2D Souls-like. I found it excellent. A lot of people love Hollow Knight. People like sing the praises of that game, and I hated every second of playing that game in a way that, like, I was talking about how my brother was mixed on this one, and he loved Hollow Knight, and I just don't get it. This game is everything that I want out of these type of games, and everything that I felt Hollow Knight wasn't. So, yeah.
All right. Any other games?
Play Fall Guys, Blasphemous, Avengers. No, that's it.
All right. So shall we hit the news?
Yeah, I don't think there's any news. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
this
no.
week.
I wish.
It was
All
an
right.
empty week.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's it'll take 5 minutes and we'll be done. All right.
Yeah.
So let's hit the news. Hold on. And there we go. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Nick DiNicola, and Andrew Smith. And our first item is
I got Ubisoft news.
okay.
Just so in other like Ubisoft like scandals, I guess they fired the chief creative, or not chief creative officer, but just the creative director for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ashraf Ismail. He's officially been fired after he stepped down because he was dating he's married, dating a bunch of women who he didn't tell them he was married, and
Not a bunch, one.
Well, no, he told one, I should say, one of them came out, and then the bunch other women came out and said, yeah, he did this to me too.
Okay, so I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure if the other guy, the chief creative director, who was accused of multiple instances of sexual harassment, he's already gone.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a different guy.
This is a creative director as opposed to a chief creative officer. This is
Okay.
a guy underneath the chief creative officer. What was it? Haskaway, who was booted because he was a real piece of shit. But
now, this person, I think like morally objectable that like he's lying to these women and he's cheating on his wife. I don't know the details of it, but it seems like other than the lying, that it was all consensual and it was above board. So I guess other than maybe like something in your contract, it's like if you fuck up in a way that's going to cause bad press, we have to let you go.
Right.
Do you think he should be fired?
If it had been in a vacuum, debatable. If that was the extent of his quote unquote crimes. However, under the circumstances, he was the first of many that it was all came out after this guy had done it, and it became an issue where you realized, oh, this is a culture of men who take advantage of women, some of whom he worked. Oh, it was also, I believe, one or more of them were people he worked with. So yeah, that would be an issue of having relationships with women that are directly reporting to you. Yeah,
Yes,
that would be an issue.
So actually, from the Kotaku article and from a comment on the Kotaku article, I guess he was using his position at Ubisoft to pursue people specifically related to Ubisoft, whether they worked there, whether they were trying to work there, or whether they were, associated with it in a tangential manner. So it's sort of an HR debacle waiting to happen.
That is objectively terrible. If you're using your position like to coerce people, or even just like get an in. Like if it's just a fan, I think that happens enough that like if it's a consenting adult,
right?
Sure, like okay, you're cheating on your wife. That's terrible, but I don't know if I'd be like burn them at the stake. But if you're like, you get this job if you sleep with me, yeah, that's kind of a fire them and don't let them back in.
Or using your position at Ubisoft to get in to make contact with women that you are having sexual relationships with, lots of them. Yeah.
It's a difference between using your job and then just interacting with them because of your job. That line is kind of there. And if he's abusing his position, yeah, he needs to be fired.
Yeah. So anyway, he lost his job. And Ubisoft did confirm that as a result of investigation, Ashraf Ismail has been dismissed from Ubisoft and is no longer an employee. They cannot provide any details about this confidential investigation. So it may be that they found more than just that.
Yeah.
Then things got more interesting for what is going on where there is a shadow on this side. Oh, I know where it is. It's a car outside that's shooting on my face. So it looks like I have a white beard. Yeah, it's like the sun is just nailing me right now in the eye. So in addition, over the past few weeks, there's a bandwagon now that was started by Jason Schreier at or Shriver. Is it Shriver or Schreier? I think it's Schreier at Bloomberg. And he was the one that kind of ripped the Band-Aid off on this Ubisoft being shitty. And now everybody's jumping on. Gama Sutra talked to dozens of former or current Ubisoft staffers at the Montreal studio, which did Valhalla, Quebec Studios, which is known for God Monsters, and Singapore, which is Skull and Bones. Each testimony, all of them were anonymous because of fears of reprisal, all mentioned the same people. All independent reports, all mentioning the same people and kind of the same shitty things. Hugo Girard, who is the quest director for Gods and Monsters, Hugh Ricoeur, managing director in Singapore, Jonathan Dumont, creative director of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Jordi Woodstra, former marketing product manager in Singapore, Justin Farron, former creative director for Skull and Bones, Mark Alexis Cote, executive director in Quebec, and Stefan Mahay, associate producer in Quebec, were all named for contributing to and perpetuating a culture of, quote, fear and oppression across all three of these studios. The executives allegedly accused of various actions like leveraging their power to objectify women by asking them for kisses at work events. Ricoeur did that. Using their physical appearance to intimidate women, and especially new hires. Dumont was known for that. And sexually assaulting women by touching them inappropriately in and out of meetings. This was a widespread issue across all of those people. The Gamma Sutra report also contains a bunch of testimonies from sources who claim the publisher enables this toxic frat house culture because Ubisoft rewards those who were alphas. Ubisoft has declined to comment on this specific report.
They need to get their press together and make sure they answer correctly.
That's right. They say they're taking each one very seriously. Also, Kotaku had another investigation which also tracked the accusations levied against many of these same people. So they're coming up independently with the same names. And also additional names, including Antoine Edmond, Ubisoft Massive's Director of Consumer Experience, who works on Division 2, who allegedly wielded his power to prey on interns at work. And Stone Chin, a longtime public relations manager at Ubisoft in San Francisco, who was known for his work with South Park, Fractured But Whole. He was allegedly accused of sexually assaulting a woman in the games industry. Both employees no longer work for Ubisoft.
Here's the thing about all the shitty stuff we're hearing about Ubisoft, and that is that we are hearing about it, but nothing about Ubisoft says that this is an outlier, that this is a problem, because it's a relatively successful company, but there is nothing like outstanding about it that up until now we have known that this is happening. This could just be everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure it's everywhere. But I think that the Ubisoft one is catching a lot of attention. One, because it's Ubisoft. It's one of the biggest game companies in the world. And two, is that I get the feeling that Ubisoft was probably worse than a lot of most companies that do have this problem, because it seems to be so unbelievably widespread and that it went so high. that, your number 2 in command was essentially
Alpha
not
bro.
alpha bro, right? And he was perpetuating this, almost not just turning a blind eye, but fostering it and encouraging it and participating in it himself. He was actually a ringleader in many ways of this kind of stuff. Whereas I think that this happens in other companies, but I don't think there is certainly as high a placed a ringleader and, somebody who's actually intentionally doing this at the company. And I think that's where it becomes the outlier. I'm hoping that's where it becomes the outlier.
I
Because
guess
I'd
I don't
hate
have
to
a.
think there is another company that is worse than Ubisoft right now. It wouldn't surprise me, but I hate to think about it.
That's the thing. I say I have no faith in people right now, especially in just from hearing how bad it was at Ubisoft. Like I could see it being that bad at Riot, considering what we have heard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Riot could be that bad. EA, I'm not so certain, just because they're super corporate of the games world, that it might be a little bit more maybe not that bad. There's probably problem people, but I don't know. It's disgusting. This whole thing is disgusting. It's worrying that it may be more widespread than Ubisoft, and we're just hearing about it because they're taking such a hard public stance about it.
Well, that, and because it already has cost them a couple of people in their C-suite. They're number 2 in command, their CCO, and a bunch of people that worked underneath them, and somebody who ran the whole freaking company, had hands on a lot of this stuff. I don't think that there's ever been somebody that high placed in a company, in a gaming company, that has had this. I mean, this is Harvey Weinstein degree of
Bad.
somebody up that high and having that much control. And when you have a company that somebody at that level is doing it and perpetuating it, it absolutely creates a toxic environment, because nobody dares breathe a complaint about being sexually assaulted or having a hands down their pants.
Yeah.
I knew
Honestly,
I knew the frag girls were a bad idea. I knew the frag dolls were a bad idea. I knew it 10, 15 years ago. I knew it was a bad idea. And now it's coming clear exactly what a bad idea it was.
Are they still a thing?
Mm-mm.
What is it?
Frag dolls?
Don't know what that is.
Oh,
They were
that
like
makes
a
me happy.
Ubisoft specific esports group, but they weren't really
They weren't
esports. They were
esports.
just like a promotional
They
competitive
were
group.
hot girls in tank tops.
Okay.
Yeah. They were hot. They're girls gaming team. And I'm not saying that they weren't serious gamers. They were all serious gamers, but they were all very much picked because they were hot girls in tank tops.
Mhm.
And they also had skills. But yeah, the hot skills didn't get them the job.
It was a step above Booth Babe.
They were a step above, right? They were booth babes who with skills, as opposed to
And
professional gamers.
not dressed the same, right? A bit more conservative, casual dress.
Dressed the same. No. They did not have team t-shirt. I mean, they did have team t-shirts, but they were not t-shirts to promote the team. Let's just
Looking
say that.
at,
There are other assets they were trying to promote.
Oh yeah.
Looking at Ubisoft's games, you can definitely feel the bro culture in there. Just their offerings. I mean,
well, you can see it. You can see it, the arc of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a time several years ago when it was very different, and there was a genuine sense of risk and variety.
we talk about booth babes and Dave Hobson.
Yeah. Gully's in the chat room. As soon as we start talking about girls in t-shirts in tight tank tops, there's Gully. Yeah, AC Wraith mentions Donna was fun. Yeah, actually, I know Donna, and Donna it was a great woman, and she loved her time with the Frag Dolls, and I give her all the props in the world about it. But at the same time, I recognize that there was not a lot of female empowerment involved. They didn't create that team because they were trying to make women feel powerful at all. That was not the intent. So and I absolutely respect that she enjoyed her time there. There were a lot of booth babes, a lot of Frag Dolls who didn't, and ultimately the whole reason why they were created was not to showcase women in gaming. That one, and I think now no one can argue. A lot of people would argue with me about that Frag Dolls did a lot for women in gaming, and I could say, yeah, Ubisoft. Now it's like we all understand. There was an all nod your head. Oh yeah, I don't think that was. You cannot blanket it in female empowerment by creating a girls gaming team in tank tops. By saying that it was because they're showcasing women. It was like, yeah, no, they really were showcasing your boobs, guys. Sorry, they were showcasing your boobs. You just had to have an extra skill to go with the boobs. So, yeah, sure. Can we bring in one of a goalie in for a fourth?
Yeah.
Special guest house. Let's see if I can get him in. All right. So do what you gotta do, people, while I send out this email.
I have a couple easy stuff. You know how we were talking about how they keep bringing Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher into stuff, and yet they don't have a game. They're not making a new game, and there's no plans to. They're actually bringing him into Siege as a playable character, and it's just kind of. I'm serious. What's his point now? Are they making a new game? Because they've been teasing it for 2.5 years. The character's still doing stuff, but
what is this?
Sam Fisher.
Oh,
from Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that game is trapped in the same development hell as Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I mean, that could be true. Honestly, it's just kind of surprising. Just because we mentioned it before, that he's actually being added to the Siege roster, and he's part of Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
And Wildlands. And now this
honestly,
Siege mobile game.
I can understand their hesitance because I feel like that genre of stealth game has really fallen out of favor in the past several years. And so I can see them, being really wishy-washy about bringing him back, at least in a full game. Do people really want a stealth game, like a military action stealth game now?
Yeah, I do. I've always loved those. So I'm down. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because we mentioned before that he keeps getting added to stuff with no real game of his own. So, and then in a second thing, it's a little longer. You know how we were talking about the U.S. Army kind of taking down their Twitch for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Goalie. They are back up, and it has very little moderation now. And
I've heard it's nuts balls right now.
It's bad because apparently they got hit by the what was it exactly? The Columbia University Knight First Amendment Institute, which is a group that kind of go after First Amendment violations. And apparently because they're the US Army and the government, they cannot ban people from saying this. So they shut it down to figure out the legal ramifications of it. And they found out oh yeah, we can't ban them for saying war crimes. We can ban them if they attack the person personally, if they're extra vulgar. Mm-hmm. But if they're just saying war crimes and asking about that, you just have to ignore it. But we can't ban them.
Yeah.
So it's now just a free for all of that.
Oh yeah, it's
bad. I feel bad for whoever has to do that.
Golly!
What's going on, peeps?
Hey, baby.
Hey,
Rocking the Minnesota Vikings hat. I love
Take
it.
it up. I've been talking to my mother again. Don't ask me how or why, but she sent me like all these hats, and this is what they do.
what?
Oh yeah,
There's
they're
these
great.
little lights on them, and
That's
they're
next
great for
level.
like going into dark closets and looking for stuff. so I got this light. I like to use it on the show once in a while. It drives Ron nuts. Ron hates it. It's like, you blinded me. You blinded me.
I had no
So-
idea something like that existed, but that's brilliant.
It is. And
Oh, they're great.
ironically,
we use them working on houses all the time. They're
Yeah,
really, really
they're
good.
a
at our
novelty
house.
because I got baseball and football. She just sent me like whatever they had, so I just got crazy ones. But no kidding. There was one night I was sitting down here during a storm, and the power went out at night, and it was completely dark down here. And I took on my hat and I put it on. I walked around. And I found it was beautiful. Seriously,
Yeah,
beautiful.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fantastic hats.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I made it through my procedure, so I'm still alive.
Yes,
Some-
good. I told you.
Good.
I told you that you were gonna be fine, but there was no telling you, and
Dude.
I didn't want to be wrong.
Dude, that was the most insane, invasive thing they've ever done to me on a table.
So
I
what?
tell ya.
What did you feel like talking about? What they did to you?
I could, yeah. Put us back on the 4 screen now. I like that. I can see everybody's face. Yes. So when you get to my age or Edie's age, I don't. Back in January, I don't remember if it was my 4th or my 5th colonoscopy. You'd
Mhm.
think you'd remember how many times they went up your asshole, right?
Right.
You would think that, but I don't remember. It's been so many.
At a certain point, you just lose count.
And when they hooked me up, they're like, dude, your heart's messed up. And of course, I completely panicked and it made it worse. And they're like, yeah, dude. And I was like, well, here's the deal. You're going to go up my ass. You're going to finish this procedure. Okay. I've been prepping for 2 days. I'm sick as a dog. You're going to go there and finish this. Then I'll deal with the heart. And I said, there's no way I'm leaving here without this procedure because I'm not doing this again. So they did the procedure. Everything was fine with that. But they said, you need to go see a doctor right away. And I went to my doctor and they discovered I had a flutter in my heart.
Mm.
And they said it could have been caused by the colonoscopy because you starve yourself and you dehydrate yourself for this procedure because you need to be clean, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I always get really sick because I just don't eat or drink for 24 hours or so. And I'm just really sick when I do this. And this time I was really sick. And they said that could have caused it. The dehydration could have caused it. Or by hooking me up for the procedure, they could have found it. So I still don't know if it was caused in January or if they found it in January. That's the weird thing about it. So I don't know whether to be mad or glad that they found it, But anyway, so I saw a guy. He's like, yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to shock your heart and put it back in rhythm. Just like that, right? And I was like, dude, that's messed up. He's like, yeah, it'll be fine. I said, can I think about it? He's like, don't wait too long. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to get your rhythm back. And he said, you don't have any symptoms. He goes, are you dizzy? Are this, you that? I go, no. I go, everything's fine. He's like, well, you don't have any symptoms, but in time you will. And then you worry about blood clots. Because what happens is your heart is like, do-doom, do-doom, right? My heart was like, do-doom, 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 do-doom. So during the, if it doesn't push out all the blood, it can lead to a blood clot and then you die. So that's what they were worried about. So anybody that's had a heart flutter or a fibrillation, that's what they're concerned about is that clots. And so they, so I says, I started seeing a chiropractor for some other things I had. And it turns out I went to high school with him. And he's like the most knowledgeable guy about the human body I've ever met in my life. And so he goes, no, you don't want to see that guy. You want to see this guy. Because that's what I had. So I saw a physiologist, a cardiophysiologist, something like that deals with the electrical part of the heart. Because if you guys didn't know, the heart's electrical. I had no idea. I don't know if it's 110 or 220. I really don't know, but it's electrical.
DC voltage.
It could be a 9 volt in there. I don't know. I might have a radio.
240 European. Like,
and so I saw some other dude, and I just talked to him on the phone actually because this was in March now, and with the COVID thing, I couldn't go see him. And so he says, he goes, I saw your thing. He goes, I don't think we're going to shock you. I think we're going to ablaze you. And I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm not going to get shocked. He's like, yeah. Well, he's going to go up in your heart and poke around it and burn some things. It's like, you're going to do what? He's like, yeah, this is what we're going to go. Oh, God, man. It's like, damn it. I was like, can I go back to the shock thing first? So much better. I feel like I'm on, let's make a deal. You want door number 1, door number 2? I don't know, man. none of this sounds good. So he says, all right, we'll set you up in June. Oh, I think it was when I talked to him. He goes, because you got to be on blood thinners for like a whole month before the procedure, you know, and then a whole month after. I'm like, oh, lovely. So I start the blood thinners. I'm going and this and that. And then they said, oh, well, yeah, we have to postpone the appointment because we're not taking in anybody like that for the hospital. It's COVID only. I said, nice to know that my heart is not considered a priority here. I says, what if I told you I had COVID? Could I come in then and get it done if I had COVID? Would that put me to the front of the freaking line? And he goes, I know. I go, this is my heart. This is not, I'm not having a breast, increase. I'm not, whatever. This is my damn heart we're talking about here. And you're telling me that we can't do it. So they postponed it and finally said, we're going to do it at the end of July. So the end of July I went in and it was weird. It was weird, dude. I mean, they rip off all your clothes and give you a Johnny and that's it. And just, I mean, I tell you,
where did they go in?
They went through my groin.
Oh,
and I'm sitting in there. I'm sitting in there on the thing, and I'm leaning up, and I'm just completely naked under that. And there's this nurse trying to stick needles. I mean, this dude comes in, just lifts me up, and just starts shaving me all down there, right in front of everybody. I'm just like, but he actually said, he goes, hey, you actually did a pretty good job yourself down here. I was like, well, I tried to. But then he shaved my chest, and he shaved it like halfway down. So you ever seen the wrestlers with the big giants with like the big thing over the side, the one strap over the side here, like Andre the Giant used to wear, and so it's like shorts with a big. That's what my chest looked like. He shaved half of it in such a way it looked like I was wearing a wrestling outfit. I was like, dude, it's like, then he's like zipping off down there. It's like, could you at least make it like a heart shape or something? I mean, just the chicks would dig it. I don't know, but no. All kidding aside, it's like they were really good there, keeping me calm, and they were like popping pills on me because my anxiety was just through the roof. And I said, we're gonna wheel you in, and when we wheel you out, your heart's gonna be normal again. And I was like, okay, that's good news. And so they wheel you in, they ripped the Johnny off right in front of everybody. There I am again. I was like, well, at this point, what are you gonna do? And they go in your groin. That's how they get into your heart. I think that's how they do stents too. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna give you some Novocaine. I'm like, oh yeah, feel that one. And then they started going. I was like, I can still feel it. All right, let's give you some more Novocaine. I can still feel it. Oh, boy, we better give you some more Novocaine. So they finally did, and then I didn't feel it. And luckily, I didn't feel anything going up into my heart. But probably like 7, 8, or 9 times, my chest felt like it was going to explode. And everything burned. My shoulders, my everything. It was just like, and I was wide awake the whole time. They would not put me out. And I begged them to put me out. I said, nope, you can't. Because I think what they need to do is they need to see your heart while you're awake. Because when you sleep, it's a different rhythm pattern. So they want to see what they're going to go. Because what they do is they go in, they actually put in 2 catheters into your heart, and it does a 3D map of your heart. I saw the video on YouTube after, not mine, but just a general one. They map out your heart. And then they go and somehow, and first of all, I don't know how they do that. Second of all, I don't know how they even thought of this. And third of all, they find the cells that are giving off those electrical signals we talked about that was causing the heart to do that irregular beat. And they just start burning them or freezing them or cut, whatever they do. And every time they did that, I felt it, And then at some point they got done and said, we're done. And your heart looks good. And in fact, and they said, we even tried to get it to flutter again, and we couldn't get it to flutter. So it's like kind of leaving the mechanic, you get the noise out, and they tried to make the noise happen. They couldn't. And so you're all set. And so there I am, Johnny's still up. And of course, the hot nurse comes over and takes both hands with a little bandage right on my groin. And she's like, yeah, I gotta sit here for 4 minutes, put pressure on it. I says, I only need 2. No, I didn't say. I thought that real fast. I thought that, but I said, it better not, because if she's trying to stop the bleeding, and if something starts happening down there, that's not going to be good. I don't know, So yeah, so they wheel me out, and I guess they got the bleeding to stop, which is good. And they said, okay, now you have to lay flat for 4 hours. Oh. And I was like, are you kidding me? And they're like, no. He said, you can't move for 4 hours because you'll stop bleeding. And I heard from someone that that had it done 15 years ago that it used to be 12 hours laying flat.
Oh wow.
And with a sandbag on you. To me, they just kept
in the hospital. Like
In the
once
hospital.
you're done, you're just stuck there.
They
for that
wheeled me
long.
out to where I was for pre-op. Where they got
Okay.
me all hooked up. Because when I went in the room, it was like this huge TV in front of me, like the biggest TV I've ever seen. And I was like, "Can you guys put Godzilla on that? That'd be awesome." And they're like, "No." And then it's just, I don't know how they did it because I was awake. And wouldn't you think that if they got this little thing in there and they're trying to pinpoint this thing in your heart, that if you moved, they would hit the wrong thing and you would die. That's all I could think of. But I was like, I couldn't move. I was awake and I could talk, but I couldn't really move side to side.
Could you feel anything in there? Like
I felt the burning. Yeah,
hmm.
see what they're doing on the screen here? Those little catheters moving on. I didn't feel anything go up into the heart. I couldn't feel anything in the heart. But when they were burning the cells, I felt they said your chest and your shoulders are gonna. You may feel some
You're gonna feel a little pinch. You're gonna feel a little pinch.
It's just kind of like the whole town's without power, and you call some people may be without power. The whole town's without power. What do you mean may be without power? So it's like, I may feel something. Yeah, okay. I'd like to see the guy that didn't feel anything during this procedure, right? And they're good. Then it ended as soon as it started. I was in there about an hour. A lot of it was prep, and I purposely did not look at any videos of this thing before I did it. And they told me, said, don't look at any videos. Don't even look up the procedure. It says, good, just do it. And then when I'm done, I'll look at what you did to me, but I don't want to know. But, yeah, it was. And then 4 hours later, it was 4 hours on the dot. I mean, the dot, because they wheeled me back in, there was a big clock and it said 2:30. And I'm like, 4 hours. So I called her. I said, look, I'm out. I'm done. I'm alive. But I'm going to be 4 more hours here. And about 6:25, I was like, okay, I got to pee. Can I get a pee? It's like, nope, 5 more minutes. It was like, seriously, 4 hours on the dot, not a minute sooner. And then at 6:30, they come over and they sat me up and they checked me out in the whole bit. But boy, what a weird procedure it was. But so when I went and I looked up this ablation procedure on YouTube, every doctor talked about how wonderful it was and it gets rid of the problem. And just, it's a slight chance it could come back, but when they go in now, they said it should be easier because they've already done so much work in there already. There's only so much left, because I got a friend of mine in the league. His dad is going to get it done. He kept getting shocked and it kept coming back, and so now they're going to do the ablation. So I was like, well, if I'd rather do that once than get shocked 5 or 6 times, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Just get it done and over with. So I got to follow up with him, in a month. I want to ask him how they ever figured this out. How would you ever think to stick these things up in your heart, map it out, and then figure out what to do to stop this electoral thing from, it's amazing.
Science is hard.
Who thinks of this stuff?
That's why they say don't look at WebMD to decide what's wrong with you. Go to a freaking doctor. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It takes 8 years for a reason.
Yeah, it does.
I would just want to be knocked out the entire time.
That's what I said. Andrew, I said that. I said, could you please knock me out? I said, the colonoscopies are a piece of cake. Aside from just feeling yucky from not eating and drinking, they go in, it's like, you're ready. And before they even touch your bum, you're out. And then you wake up and you're done. It's perfect, And I actually did a video on it, just talking about it, just to see anybody else was going through it. Because it was just so weird. But yeah, they sent me home. They just said, look, this is, don't walk the dog for a few days and really don't do anything strenuous for a week or so. And so I waited a couple of days and just did some slight walking. Because the thing is that where they went in the groin is a major vein or artery. And if I were to open that up, I would bleed inside and then I would have to go right back to the emergency room. Right. So that's what my concern. They weren't really concerned about the heart. Yeah, they weren't concerned so much about the heart as they were the vein down there,
Absolutely.
And so I just took it easy for a few days, and then I walked the dog, and I was really sore in that groin. So I was like, wow, it's still sore after a week. So yesterday, as the first time I've skated, well, in 5 months anyway, because of this whole thing, but I skated a little bit yesterday, and I was wiped out, and I started having palpitations, and I was flipping out last night. I was like, I just wrecked this whole procedure. They're going to have to do it again. My heart's not in rhythm. What the hell happened to me? And so I'm laying there in bed sweating because I'm panicking now, because I just did this whole procedure to fix my heart. And I played hockey for, 20 minutes or half hour, and I'm freaking out. And when I get on the WebMD and it says palpitations are normal, especially after exercise, and they usually go away. They're no big deal. And so I actually relaxed, and I got up this morning when I checked my pulse, it was back to normal again. But it was just messed up. It was like do-doon, 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 do-doon. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be doing that. Seriously. I almost went to the emergency room last night because I was just freaking out so much, but I calmed myself down. But so it's over with, it's done. Now it's just the healing part of it.
Right.
And my chiropractor friend's like, dude, just take it easy on your heart. Yeah,
do you feel any different? Do you feel like your heart's working better?
I feel like I have more energy. Okay, not like vast amount, but I feel better. In fact, but people have said that I look better.
You do look better.
And just so for what, like, again, I keep going back to my chiropractor friend. He's like, well, what's happening is that, let's just say you're getting 2 or 3 good pumps and 1 bad pump. Then, you were pumping at 70%. So you weren't getting all the oxygen and your body wasn't functioning like it should. Like not firing on all cylinders, if you will.
Right.
So he says, now you're pumping normally, and just once you get, up to speed, it should be better. He thought the whites of my eyes look better. That's something I never would have thought about. But I took a picture of myself yesterday, put it on Facebook right after I played, exhausted, and people thought I looked great. It's like, dude, I was so tired in that picture. So I think it more long-term ramifications than short-term, but once I think I have a little bit more energy. I do. If anything, it's almost like when you change the oil in your car. Mm-hmm. Oh, this car runs great now.
Yeah.
You don't know if it is
on life.
If it's in you,
we'll keep you another 10 years going.
I did that recently, and I was actually like, oh, wow, this car feels almost new.
Yeah, it's weird, but is it, or is it in your head because you had some work done? That's the thing I don't get. But anyway, that's my story. No joke. I sent you guys a text just in case, because I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And
I know that that was in your head, and I knew you were going to be okay, but I also knew there was absolutely no way that I could tell you you're going to be fine. Stop being silly, because that wasn't place. Yeah. You sent us a text fully expecting never to wake up from that procedure.
Yeah. And I put a big thing here on my work desk for Sharon with all the important stuff, for the house. And
it's a smart thing to do anyway. Smart thing to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and because she doesn't know anything, like I do all the bills and stuff like that, and
right.
all the adult stuff, and she does other things. But I mean, as far as all the serious stuff like that goes, and the law, whatever all the lawyer stuff, I have all that. So I just wrote like every password I have down, with everything I could think of, and it works out good for me too, because every once in a while I'll forget, so now I can go back to that letter and read my password, but just if I were to die, it's like, okay, well, here, give Ron my Google account so he can get into my YouTube account and save the show and stuff like that, and I had another friend who was going to sell my video games and give her the money for the funeral and stuff like that. It's stuff you hate talking about, but I mean, it's just, if something were to happen,
it's smart to make those arrangements, but not enough people do that because they just don't think something will happen. But the hit by the bus scenario is a valid scenario. It happens all the time to people every day in this country.
Yep. And I almost put something up on Facebook, like, thanks for everybody to listen to the GameHounds and the other stuff I did in the Ratcast. But I was like, something, if I live, this is going to look so stupid.
Yeah, right. That's the downside.
It's like, if I die,
really?
I don't care.
I thought
but
you
if
were
I live,
dead.
If I live, it's going to be these people saying, oh, the drama queen. It's like, I really wanted to tell some people some things. I got some chicks out there, just stuff like that, No, but seriously, it's but I didn't. I came this close. I had it all written out in my head, and I was like, no, that is just so stupid. Because if I do live, then I'm gonna look like a big dummy, So
well, you're not a big dummy, and we're glad that you.
But I'm here. But yeah, so I actually been playing a little bit more video games, if you can believe it.
Look at you.
So give me 2 minutes. I'll tell you what I'm playing.
Okay.
I went back and started playing some old shooters. In fact, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3. I never played it, and I had it on my system. I must have bought it on a sale of a PS Plus game.
I think it was
Maybe?
PS Plus.
Yeah, that's what it must have been. Because I remember I bought the disc for somebody for Christmas, like for a kid, and it was used. So I tried it. I was like, oh, this game sucks. But so I just gave it to him. There you go. Yeah. But I never finished it. But I found it on my PS4, so it must have been a PS Plus game. So I ended up playing the whole campaign with that. It was okay. It was okay. And then I played Modern Warfare 3. It was a 360 game that was backwards compatible. So I finished that campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked up Ghost Recon, the new one, but not Wildlands.
Keep thinking
Breakpoint.
Wildlands.
Breakpoint.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so I picked up that. 'Cause, when that came out last year, I think it was almost a year ago. Come out, it was got bad reviews, and I thought it was just P versus P, and I was like, I don't want to play it. But then I saw a video on it last week, and it was just like, it's like Ghost Recon. It's a big open world. You can play with people. You can play against people. You can just play by yourself. I was like, oh, perfect. And they did all these updates, and they fixed the game. They really did. They completely fixed this game. And so I picked it up, and I got 20 hours into that game already, and I still can't figure out the menus. Oh my god! I liked Wildlands better, but this still has some value. I think I picked it up for $30 used, and I got 20 hours into it. It reminds me a lot of The Witcher. Remember if you guys played The Witcher, remember how long it took to figure out that menu system?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, what are these things doing? What do these things do? And then after you played it for like 20 hours, it finally clicked and everything made sense. It's like, oh, so that's what this is for. And that's how I'm doing with this. Is I'm watching videos now and learning that, oh, this is what this is for, and that's what that is for. There's just so much. It's almost like Ghost Recon Wildlands meets The Division. It's really you can craft your weapons and you got blueprints to build guns. And I guess I just learned this on YouTube the other day, that if you buy the blueprint, you can create the gun, and you can keep creating that gun as long as you have the money to get. You might get a better one, almost like a loot box thing. It's like, hey, this one has plus 10 reload. Well, if you buy another one, you might get plus 15 reload. And then plus 5 mobility or something. The game didn't show you any of that. I'm just shooting stuff. But I finally watched some of the videos, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It's just so much to do. There's so much time spent in the menus. It's almost like The Witcher there, where you're in the menus over and over and over doing this thing. It's like, holy smokes. But it is fun. And I guess they didn't have the AI teammates, but they added them. So you have the 3 AI teammates like you did in Wildlands.
They added those.
And that is really fun, because I'll just sit back, like you see the guy on the screen here. I'll just sit back here, put up my drone, mark 3 people, and they'll pick them off for me. And we'll just we'll work our way from the out to the inside to pick off people. And it's really fun. There's a couple of missions that you need to do that. It's you're rescuing people. And if you get spotted, they start shooting the prisoners and the mission fails. So you can't even get spotted. They can find a dead body and they can hear a gunshot. But if they see you, that's when they execute people. And then you work your way in, you pick them all off, and then you have to escort them out of the camp, and then take them to wherever they're going. And it's this poor bastard, this one engineer, this middle-aged lady, probably Edie's age, I went in and I rescued her, and then I had to take her somewhere, right? And so we come out of the camp, and there was a truck. So I get in the truck, and I'm driving down the street, and I think I'm going to the right place, right? And all of a sudden, they start chasing me, and they ran the truck off the road, and I crashed. So I killed them all, and I got this lady. I'm like, well, I'm looking. It's like, it's only a couple of clicks away. Why don't we just walk? So I got this middle-aged woman engineer with me, and we start walking, and we start walking, and we start walking. And it's like, well, it's a little further than I thought it was. We had to walk around a lake because she wouldn't get in the boat. I had a boat. She wouldn't get in the boat. We had to completely walk around a lake. And we get around the lake, and it was on the other side of a mountain. So I start climbing the mountain, and this poor bastard behind me just followed me. Like, man, I took her over hill and dale to get to this place. It was too far. I felt bad. I know it's just a computer character and the whole bit. I felt bad for this engineer. I really did. She's got the yellow vest on, the whole bit. And she's like, I got to be somewhere. I was like, I'm trying to get you there, honey. I know. I thought we could walk there, but I guess we can't. We climbed a mountain. We climbed a whole mountain to get where we had to go. It was so funny. Oh man. But yeah, a lot of fun. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Enjoying it. I like Wildlands better, I think, but this is fun. it's just fun kicking back on the couch and playing. Oh, and the other thing, the options in this game are ridiculous because they have two ways of playing it: normal and immersive. And hey, what's going on, Terry? Good to see you. In immersive mode, it's like everything's shut off, and it's just you against the world. Right? There's no really help or anything like that. But you can go anywhere in between, and there's all these options. So I have it like on puss mode, so I have to really screw up to die. Okay, I just have it on easy mode, and I have like maximum this on, and then a little bit of this on, and the customization in this game is absolutely insane as far as how you can play it, what's available to you. You can have unlimited health or no health, stuff like that. So they did a good job with all the options in this game to really make it the game that you want to make it, and just the gunsmith and changing your gun parts and upgrading your guns. It's pretty impressive considering it got terrible reviews. But I think they fixed it, whatever they did to fix it. So
AC Wraith says, I have a new space game suggestion for you, Gully. Space Game Junkies Brian Rubin has been saying Spaceborne might be the best of 2020.
Ooh.
It's $15 on Steam.
I will check that out. Spaceborne. I'm going to write that down right now. Hey, what was that game? That space game that you had the toys and you put the toys against the camera and they would appear in your game on the PlayStation. It came out about a year ago.
Oh, I think that was one from Ubisoft. The Starlink?
Was that it?
Yeah, Starlink. I picked that up. That was $5 at GameStop, and I put that in. What's this called? Spaceborne. Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
With an E. Spaceborne E.
Yep. Yeah. So I picked up Starlink too. It was $5, and it's just a basic game, but I threw it on my PS4 to see if I would enjoy that. That looked like it might be kind of fun. For $5, I'll play it.
Did you get any of the toys?
No, I just got the game there.
Okay.
I was in GameStop and I was getting a Ghost Recon. I go, I've heard of the Starlink game. Look kind of neat. $5. Okay, I bought it for one of the few remaining GameStops around me. They're dropping like flies. Are they dropping like flies out your way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, the ones around me are still open. Well, I haven't actually checked, but
the one next to me is still open, but the couple around me are they're not.
Yeah, they're
well.
not going to make it through the end of the year. That's my prediction.
I mean, they were going to make it in a few years, but this just made it quicker.
Yeah. And don't, whatever you do, Goalie, do not pre-order your game from GameStop at all. Don't do it, because I don't think they're going to be around if you have put a deposit down.
Yeah, and I haven't
be able to deliver.
I haven't done much of the GameStop. I haven't done much of the pre-order. In fact, as much as I hate to say, I went over to a lot of digital stuff. I was just playing the Ghost Recon because I bought the disc, and like the disc is like rattling around the PlayStation. I'm like, oh, come on, really? So sometimes digital's not bad, but they still wanted full price for this game online. They wanted $60. I'm like, I'm not paying $60 for a year-old game.
Nope.
I would have bought it digitally
Really?
for 30. Yeah, I guess they had some sales at one
game
point.
Did they have?
The Ghost Recon.
Really?
Ghost Recon. Yeah, that still was $60
What the hell is
on both
going on
systems.
here?
I looked on both systems. It was $60. I was like, I would have paid 40, but so I went down to GameStop and paid 30 for a used one. And I don't feel bad because I bought Ghost Recon Wildlands for both systems last time. So I bought that twice. So if I pick it up used this time, I don't feel
You
bad.
don't feel any guilty. All right.
No.
Makes sense.
No.
So, do you want
nothing?
to carry on with news, or?
I can hang out for a bit. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So let's see. Our next item is the next big item, and it is
like one of the most.
very big.
I think there's a fun big one.
Okay. What's the fun big
Is
one?
that Halo got delayed?
Oh, I didn't see that. Really?
Oh yeah. Halo's delayed.
Oh no! How did they give any reason for this?
They actually said that it's in large part due to the coronavirus.
Oh,
The
really?
changes in production that they've had to go through for the past couple months means that they don't think they would make the date. On an interview, Phil S. I always forget the last name. Basically said that
Spectre.
See, you don't know. You don't know.
I
It could be
never know.
anyone.
I can never remember if it's Spencer or Spectre.
It's Phil. Phil.
It's Spectre. I think it's Spectre.
I thought it was
Phil
Ronnie
S.
Spector. Was it
No,
Ronnie
it's Ronnie.
Spector?
No, it's not Ronnie Spectre. It's Phil Spectre.
What Phil's said is that they could have shipped it if they split the game up, like if they basically shipped multiplayer and single player separately,
Mhm.
but they didn't want to do that, so they
Right.
decided to delay the game. So,
Um,
their one big console launch game is now not a console launch game.
well, similarly, since we were already on that before we get to like the big news of the week,
That's pretty
is
big.
that is fairly big, but there's other bigger ones. But Xbox, Microsoft has officially narrowed down the release date for Xbox Series X to November.
The real
So
question
what I
is,
saw
Which year? Which
go
year?
on.
This year.
how much is it going to cost?
Right, that's the very big question.
Oh.
But now the story about the November release date gets far more interesting. And I picked this up. I forgot where I found this particular article, but there were a number of things that were leaked in the last couple of days that may allow us to be able to get very more specific about the date. So, Sega's Yakuza Like a Dragon may have actually unintentionally leaked the exact date. Here's how. Let's see. They announced that the game is going to release on Xbox Series X launch day. They actually said that.
Oh,
Not recognizing that we already know, or it was put elsewhere, what the release date is, which is November 13th.
Okay, that's interesting that they said that says November 13th, because I saw another story that the box for the new controller leaked.
Mhm.
And not only did it specifically mention the Xbox Series S,
Right, that's the other big news.
but that it also said that there was a year warranty associated with the controller
Right.
that would expire on November 5th.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's kind of also interesting because there was a photograph that came out. There's a picture that was dropped that somebody out of Chicago, somebody apparently got his hands on one of the next generation controllers. That and the sticker on the controllers say, "Do not sell or display before November 6th." 2020, and that's exactly 1 week before November 13th.
So that means I need to get the GameStop and pre-order this thing right now.
Right, perhaps. Well, you can't really pre-order because they're not open for pre-orders. That's the
also,
thing.
they don't have a price.
And we don't have a price.
Oh, that would
You
help.
don't need a
Right.
price to pre-order.
You're right. Just put $5 down.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. I hate that. I used to hate that.
But that's kind of maybe pointing to a staggered release around the world, meaning that
Oh yeah.
yeah, there's a staggered release, meaning that it was the Japanese site that said that Yakuza is releasing on Xbox Series X date, and they were out of Japan, which would be on the 13th, which means a week beforehand would be in the United States, which would be November 6th.
Or they just might start selling the controllers earlier.
Right. And The Verge has confirmed that the leaked images of the white next-gen controller are indeed real. The text on the packaging mentions that the controller works with the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which has not been announced.
So wait, so this controller we're talking about, is this for the new systems or the current ones?
New one.
New one.
So
Next gen.
why would you want to buy a controller before the system comes out?
No, it's the staggered release would
So
be that,
you might have, I don't know, if you want to.
the pictures of the controller were controllers that were purchased or were acquired in Chicago, the United States.
Mhm.
The Yakuza it's coming out in Japan on Xbox Series X release date on the 13th in Japan, which leads us to a possibility that there may be a staggered release. It comes to the United States on the 6th. A week later, it's in Japan. Remember, they have done that before, where consoles were staggered release.
But you can buy the controller before the system.
They haven't been purchased. No,
No.
no, because if it was in Chicago when they purchased it, then conceivably the Xbox Series X release date in the United States would be the 6th, and in Japan would be the 13th, 1 week later to the day.
In the chat, yeah, Terry Sweeten has said that he thinks the staggered. Phil has said that the staggered release hurt them last gen, so they're going to try to have as close to simultaneous worldwide as possible.
Interesting.
Which a week isn't terribly long, I don't
No,
think.
Yeah.
it isn't. That's for all intents and purposes.
Also, generally, it just seems like first 2 weeks of November.
Right.
Like specific day is like whatever, but look, early first half of November.
But the biggest news isn't the date so much as the fact that they mentioned the Xbox Series X, or sorry, Series S, which has not been released. This is that cheaper version that they were talking
It's
about.
kind of been an open secret, right? It's like everyone knew it was
we
there.
know the code name. It's codename Lockhart. And they've been talking about that it would be essentially 4 teraflops of GPU performance, 7.5 gigabyte usable RAM. It has the same CPU as the Series X, but it has lower resolutions than the Series X. So that had not been previously announced, but now it looks like, oh yes, that is a thing, and it's going to be called the Xbox Series S.
Wait, that makes sense.
How much more resolution can you get? I mean, everything's 4K, right? I mean,
I imagine the S is just like 1080 probably. Was at the limit.
would they put out anything 1080 anymore? I mean, seriously, at this point?
They are, it seems.
It's a lower resolution because the Series X is at 4K. And if it's a lower resolution than that, the next step down is 1080p.
What's the Xbox One X that's out right now? I have that. Is that 4K? It must be 4K, right?
Yeah, I think it is. At least,
I think PS4 is
yes,
4K
it is.
too.
The PS Pro is supposed to be able to do some 4K.
But it's not like, I don't think it's great 4K. It's just basically, yeah, we can get up there and it'll play.
Yeah, I just kind of wonder, like when they say one's gonna have a better resolution, it's like, why would anybody want to buy the 1080 version? I mean, I guess, maybe you have an older TV, but
I guess price would come down to it, like just how much it is.
Maybe there's a significant difference in price.
Like if it's $100 cheaper than the One X, like that's a pretty good upgrade for cheap.
So Terry says, yeah, the S will be 1080 or maybe 1440p. That's entirely possible.
what's 4K? 2880? Is that what that is? I don't know what all the numbers are. I didn't know there was a number in between 1080 and 4K. If there is, then maybe
2000 by something.
1440 is like ultra widescreen.
Oh.
Yeah. DJ Phil B. Collins says there's kind of a 2K spec. So
typically they have like really wide monitors, and that's the whole point of it.
Right.
Okay.
4K. And 4K is 2048.
Okay, so you get 1080 and then 2048, and there's something in between that.
And 1440p in the center.
Okay.
I am by no means a
I
resolution person.
didn't know there was something in between the 1080 and the.
Man, I hate to say it, but math is hard. Let's go shopping.
Wait, he says
2160. 2160 is 4K.
Yeah, that'd be the 1080 times 2.
Makes sense. That's double. Yeah.
AC Wraith just realized we are on Facebook again this week. StreamYard now allows 3 streams, so we didn't have to choose Twitch over Facebook for the streams. We can watch all 3 streams.
Edie, I think they're a fan of this podcast because you're like, man, we need to be on Twitch next week. Twitch, man, I really sucks that we had to get rid of Facebook next week. Facebook as well.
I know.
True.
Man, I really need $1 million.
Within reason. To keep it to the platform.
So, I guess in other news, moving right along, Nick, have you got something?
Yeah, there's a whole big legal battle brewing
Yes,
between
that is the big news of the
Epic and Apple.
week.
Well, technically
I
Epic,
even heard about
Apple,
this.
and Google, but it's really Epic and Apple at the core.
Yeah.
Because Epic basically, well, I think the gist is that Apple, I'm not sure who made the first move. I think Epic made the first move by doing something, and Apple took Fortnite off of the iOS.
Yes, here's the story is
And then
that
Epic basically sued immediately because they were ready. Like, this is kind of all part of their
this
plan.
was a big plan
They were
to
looking
sue
for this.
Apple for antitrust over the App Store. So here's what it's all about. If you want to sell an app if you want to get your app on people's phones, you must go through the App Store, Apple's App Store. If you want to sell things in that app, like microtransactions, you must sell them through Apple's own microtransaction process. You got to go through their Apple Pay program. And Apple takes a 30% cut of things sold through that process. Google does the same thing with the Android store. If you sell things, you must give Apple a cut of the money that you make for these microtransactions because you have to use their process. This has been an issue for years. In fact, that Amazon, this is where I'm a little like, I don't know if Epic's going to be able to make it, because this was an issue years ago with the Kindle app on the iPhone. For a while, Amazon, if you wanted a new book, you could buy the book through the Kindle app. Now, then Apple's like, you cannot direct people to purchase it through the actual app from Amazon. You must run it through our system so we get a 30% cut if you're going to sell stuff within your app that you want promoted on the App Store or want on the App Store. So Amazon removed that function out of the Kindle app, so that if you want to buy a new book, you must go to Kindle to Amazon through Safari or whatever you use. You can even do it online, using Chrome, and then say, all right, and now you've registered your phone with them. They will pump the book to you, but you can't actually buy the book within the app. So Epic rolled out the Fortnite Mega Drop, which had two components. First, it was the price of V-Bucks, Fortnite's in-game currency, which people use to buy skins and dances and stuff. And they dropped that price at 20% on all platforms. And this was a straight discount across PC, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, but the versions of the game distributed through the iOS app and the Google Play Store worked a little differently. As part of the price drop, Epic introduced a direct payment to Fortnite on mobile. So they did not use Apple's or Google's payment processing methods. So you essentially bought it straight through Epic. Apple came in and was like, you must, in order to be on the App Store, you must go through our payment processing system. And Apple dropped them off of the App Store, and then Google dropped them off their App Store. Immediately, bam, Epic issued these antitrust lawsuits. So they knew exactly what would unfold once it launched these direct payments. It was almost the instant that they were banned from the store. Just before 3 p.m. Eastern time, Epic announced. Epic dropped that short that we saw. Have you seen that video short?
Yeah.
So 1980 Fortnite, which is essentially a play off of Google of Apple's iconic launch video of the girl, the girl with the hammer, and she swings it into the screen saying, "We're not going to take this tyranny anymore." They essentially did the same thing, talking about how we're not going to put up with the tyranny of the App Store anymore. And they've titled it 1980 Fortnite. So yeah, within minutes of it being dropped off the store, this video emerged and the antitrust lawsuit was filed.
This is clearly a plan. They knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
And not only that, it's actually kind of scary to take on like Fortnite because they have a very young demographic and it's very popular and they have a strong they have strong influence over that base. And if you want your products to continue to do well, you want them on your side.
Right. So yeah, that's the one thing that Epic has for it that Amazon didn't at the time. Amazon just caved because they knew that was a fight they did not want to take on.
think
Epic
also
clearly wants this fight.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think Amazon caved because they would just fine, whatever, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll just send people to our app store.
I saw
or to our website.
The law firms that Epic is associating with are two really big law firms, and so they wanted this fight. Like, they are looking forward to spending a lot of money on this, and the speed with which they filed the lawsuit means they were prepared. So it's the difference between looking for a fight and not looking for a fight. Amazon didn't care. Epic is like, yeah, let's do this.
They laid bait. They were ready. This was a trap.
But Apple had no other choice. I mean, it's part of their developer agreement is that you cannot sell directly anything through their apps. You must go through the Apple payment processing system. Google's the same way. So yeah, in the suit, Epic states that there are anti-competitive consequences of Apple's conduct that are pervasive. And they said, quote, when these devices are unfairly restricted and extortionately taxed by Apple, the consumers who rely on these mobile devices to stay connected in the digital age are directly harmed.
The basis for their argument is pretty sound, due to the fact that Apple has spent so much time being walled off and kind of making their own garden. And what phones are used for now are not just simply like an extra thing. Like, they are important to day-to-day people.
Well, where Apple has fallen down is that they are becoming a victim of their own success, both that and Android. There are really only two manufacturers now of phones, Apple and Google. They're the only two. Whereas years ago, there were a host of other companies that made phones, and that would be the argument to this, is that if you don't like Apple's practices, a consumer is perfectly okay. They're perfectly free to buy a different phone. It's not our fault that we offer a superior product, but if you really don't want this, if it's really harmed, there are other ways to get your phones, other ways to get your apps. But when all the phones now are all either Google or Apple or Android, and there are no other companies that are making phones that are not on those platforms, then yes, you can argue monopoly and you can argue antitrust.
It does suck because it's like, when you go live with dad and then you don't like the way it's going, then you go move in with mom, and then you don't like, and you just go back and forth. It's like when you have a divorce. I've seen it so many times. Growing up, it's like, I see this kid. I'm living with my father. My mother's such a jerk. She wouldn't let me play, and then now my dad wants me in bed early, so I'm going back to live with my mother. So it's like bing bing. So you go between Apple, Google. It's like, but nothing ever changes. You just get mad at someone, and you go to the other guy. Then you get mad at them, and you go back.
Right. When your mom and dad are ganging up on you and doing something that would be illegal if you had no other choice, and then no other choice is present, then it is illegal. So it's going to be this is going to be a fight that is going to change everything with phones. It's going to change everything with the App Store, and it's going to affect all of your apps, not just games, not just Fortnite. It's going to affect your Kindle.
Yeah.
Am I gonna have to change my number?
No.
Well,
No.
Oh,
Like,
good. Oh,
the reason why
Don't worry about that.
the reason I don't think they filed a suit against Google yet is because that argument is a harder sell on Android, because while there are not as good, there are other app stores on Android. Like Samsung has their own store.
And you can sideload stuff on Android.
Yeah, where Apple, they have walled them off themselves so much that you can only use Apple approved software. So that's, I imagine, is why
And
they're
that is
hesitant
going to be their argument, is that
Yeah.
there are other app stores on Android that you can use. You don't have to buy an Apple phone. You know that this is walled off. This is a secret garden. It offers a superior product, but you can't penalize somebody for offering a superior and popular product. Go to if you don't like the way Apple does stuff, go to some other store. That's going to be the argument.
What's interesting about this is that there's a good article on Ars Technica that mentions this whole suit ignores the console platforms, because Xbox Live, PSN, and the Nintendo eShop are all the exact same. And so if Epic wins this, know that they will go there next.
Everybody else will cave. If
they'll have precedence.
Apple loses. Right. If Apple loses this, then everybody's going to lose. So it's all going to come down.
It's basically a suit about how to manage digital marketplaces.
Mhm.
And just want to point out, I'm kind of agreeing with AC Wraith here. Apple's superior for what? Like,
it is a
Because
better
the Apple,
it's a better phone.
disagree.
the iOS
I have
store
used
is
both
better
of
than
them,
the
and
Google
it is
Play
a better
Store.
phone. And but I'm saying that knowing that this is my last Apple phone, because when this thing dies, then I'm going Android, and I'm not
You'll
going to
lose the
enjoy
headphone
it
jack.
because of the headphone jack, motherfuckers. I'm
I
still
have
pissed about it, and I will not buy another Apple phone.
the version just under that.
Yeah, me too. That's what this is. The
Yeah.
version just under that.
What version is that?
This is the 6S.
Oh, I have the SE. That's what I have, the SE, and still got the jack in there.
Right,
That's
and this right.
I'm over
And-
here with an Android, just like, nope, not part of this. This is better than Apple.
The thing is, I have an Android tablet, and I think that the iOS store in general is better. Like, the Apple platform is better. Like, it's more intuitive, it's smarter designed. But don't let me think like, hey, fuck Apple every degree. Like, I'm not on their fan. They just happen to make a better product.
Yes, agreed. I'm with Nick. I am on Team Nick right now.
I'm the same
Well, I
way.
mean,
I have a Google.
how much of that
whatever, but-
is
Here, let me make it even teams here. There we go.
how much of that is just familiarity? Like, if you're just as good as using Samsung and you go to Apple, I'm sure I would have trouble getting into
because I have the Android tablet, so I switch between them all the time.
Fair, but you're more comfortable with Android. Like, I've never used an Apple iPhone. Like, I haven't done it.
So how do you know it sucks?
Yeah,
It does.
you don't.
You just read the
know.
headlines. You don't read the
I have
article.
tried
You
to
read the
use-
headlines only. I know people like you. I've gotten rid of all those people. I got rid of them all on my social media. I just read the headlines. Did you ever try
I don't know if
No.
Apple sucks. That's not my
Did you
point.
read-
The
Did you
argument
read
that
past the first paragraph.
Apple
read the
is
first
superior
paragraph.
is what
Someone
I'm
posted
against.
a meme that said Apple sucks, so it must suck. It must. That sucks like Madden and Ubisoft and Activision. Sucks.
Well, I mean,
Look,
they
I'm
all
not gonna
do
say-
suck.
I'm not going to say that Android is awful, but if you give me the choice, I think that the
Nick, now let me.
iOS.
I agree with you because I have a tablet that had the Android on there. It was okay. Do you think that it's because we're just so used to the way Apple does it that it's just that when we go to something new, it's like, wow, this is clunky.
Again, I don't think so, because like I know the apps on the Android tablet, some of them are better because I can actually make purchases through the Comixology and the Kindle app.
Nick, have you learned anything yet? You were just supposed to say yes.
Yes, Scully. Yes,
That's all you were supposed to say was yes.
Yes.
I set it up for you to slam dunk it. Yes, we agree, bros for hoes, and we're back to normal here. But you missed it. You missed it. We even got the hole on our side this time. It's 3-on-1 right now. Right? It's the new guys on the way out. Right? It's okay, Andrew, for us to get back to like a group hug.
I'm taking my boobs and I'm going home.
I'll carry the show with the boobs from now on. Don't worry.
So yeah, stay tuned for this. This is going to be a fight that changes everything.
It'll be fun to see.
You wonder how many apps that would actually affect?
Everything.
All of them.
All of them.
No company would stand for having 30% of their revenue taken away if they know the option is there to fight it.
Yep.
And the moment
All
they
of
lose
them.
against Epic, if they do lose against Epic, they've lost every other case.
I guess it really depends on if the developer or publisher wants to go to the effort of setting up their own payment process.
Right.
So with a lot of smaller apps, you'll probably be like, "No, we'll just use Apple's thing because it's easier." But any sort of major platform holder,
Any of the games that have microtransactions, they absolutely, because those are going to be large enough companies that have micro.
yeah, they'll probably, and if they don't have it, they'll probably start making them.
Mhm. Candy Crush made Apple a lot of money.
Yeah.
You figure 30, they made 30% off of every transaction.
Made a few hundred off of my house.
Yeah.
Just saying. Can't go away for a business trip for a couple of days. I needed more limes. I didn't know I spent that much. I'm sorry. I was playing in bed and I needed limes and I could do this. I'm still paying that bill.
All right. Well, our next item is not so much game related, but it is nerd related. At least that's the one that I have. Avatar, the live action movie.
The series.
The series. Sorry, live action series. Sorry, I wrote movie. I meant series. The live action series that was planned for Netflix is no longer going to have the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino have both stepped away from the project. This is according to a recent blog post of theirs, because they say production was not going as planned. According to their statement, there comes a point when, what was it? They wrote, they need to know, they need to know when to cut his losses and move on, or a writer needs to know when he needs to cut his losses and move on. And that, quote, Netflix's live action adaptation of Avatar has the potential to be good. It might turn out to be a show many of you end up enjoying. But what I can be certain about is that whatever version ends up on screen, it will not be what Brian and I had envisioned or intended to make.
I've never seen that, but
I'm watching the series right now.
But when you hear
your suggestion, God, it's such a good series.
But yeah, here's my thing. Generic question here. When the original people leave anything and then it's taken over by new people, it just is not the same.
Yeah.
And it can be better, but for the most part, if when like I said, I don't know anything about this particular one here, but in the past, like even movies, you see a movie, then they make a second or a third, and it's made by all these different people. It is so different, the vision of everything and how it's done. It's like
feels different.
It's so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like in that letter, it's so polite but also so angry. Their show could be good. You might end up enjoing it.
But
you might feel some discomfort in your chest and your shoulder might burn. You might feel that.
Passive aggressive.
From my understanding, it was straight creative differences with Netflix.
Yeah, that could mean anything, though.
But years ago, they were told they were going to have complete creative freedom with the show, and they have since been proven wrong. So there's been a lot of rumors, obviously, with something like this.
What could go wrong, though? Star Wars. What could go wrong?
I can very easily seeing it just be a issue of money, because
that's one of them.
I imagine that show would probably be very expensive to
Oh.
make, being a fantasy based on a fantasy cartoon where you could very easily do a bunch of stuff, animated and not worry about the budget.
Right.
And Netflix in the recent years being much more less willing to throw $100 million at a series blindly.
Just the flying CGI and the
Oh, yeah.
element bending CGI. It must have been
I
hellacious.
imagine every episode would have to
There's
be
a
really
reason why
A lot
the,
of
the
it.
movie that shall not be named or remembered had like sparse element fighting for
That's
the
on
Avatar.
Netflix, and I want to see it. I want
Oh,
to see the
it's
train
so-
wreck for myself.
What series is
So
this?
There was a live action
Avatar movie
last- yeah.
Oh,
made by
yes, I
M.
know
Night
that. It wasn't good because I
Shyamalan.
never saw it, but
It is awful garbage, and you need to finish the series first before you go watch the movie.
okay.
But it is legitimately terrible, like ooey bull bad for a top end Hollywood production. They changed so much stuff unnecessarily, and they shoved the entire first water book into 2 hours of the movie. Like, it is so bad.
So would she have to watch the whole thing before watching that, or just watch the first season?
I guess you could watch the first season, but
From
you
what
should
I
watch it
understand,
all
it's
so
like-
that you love Avatar, and then you can see what this did to the series and hate it. Hate it like the rest of us.
Yeah. Goalie,
Wrong.
it is truly a quality series. And I remember watching this when it was on its first run, on Nickelodeon. I actually remember being there for the first episode and going, this is really cool. I like this. And then Nickelodeon was always fucking around with the schedule. So it's like you'd go back and it's like, oh, it's not there now. It's been moved to some other time. And then I lost track of the series somewhere right about the end of the first season. And so now, then I think I picked up, it's like, oh, look, Accident Airbender's on. And it's like, oh, everything's changed. And why does Aang have hair? And I had missed so much of the progression of the story that it just didn't make any sense to me. So it was like, me, I let it go. But it's such a good series. And
Netflix only has
holds
series
up.
now. You go to Netflix now, it's like all series.
Yeah.
No, they
And
put out-
sometimes that's
They
good,
still
but
got a lot of movies, but people
I think
really like
this summer has been really good for Netflix movies. They've put out a few, at least 4 that I think have been real quality.
I just
Right.
want to go back to the movie real quick because it hurts me. And I want to share that pain with
Okay,
everyone.
all right.
I
They were-
do want to see it because it's
Heard.
on
They,
Netflix.
they refer to the main character Aang as Ong for the entire movie. They name Sokka as Suka or Soka. Like he changed
Soka.
every single name to sound more in line with like the ethnicity that they're supposed to be, and they changed all of their names. They changed fire bending so they actually have to use like fire to bend, and like earthbenders in one scene they move one boulder very slowly. Like 5 people work together to move one boulder, and that's it. It's
I
oh
have
god.
seen, I
That ain't
have
right.
seen that one of the frustrating things about that movie is the speed with which all the combat happens. Like it's all so much slower than it is in the show.
Yeah,
'Cause in the show, it's really fast. Punch is a punch.
yeah, no, it's so bad. It hurts me to this day.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
It was so bad it ruined season 4. Like Avatar, it ends just fine, but they were gonna make a season 4 and it got put on hold because of the movie. Apparently. But back to the series, the 3 main rumors for why they left was obviously the first one was budget. Second, they did not want to have any white cast members, just because of
That makes
the
sense.
vision they have.
Right.
But Netflix wanted to keep that open, and they were just like a hard no about that. And then the last one was there's one more thing, and I can't remember.
They wanted a unicorn, and Netflix was like, "Fuck you! Take this horse with a nail in its head."
Okay.
No, I don't think it was that. Crap! I have to go look this back up. Talk to me.
Okay. Yeah. Point is, disappointing. That's too bad.
So I got nothing else. What do you guys have?
I have one that I think you'll love. You'll just
Okay.
love this. So remember how G4 is coming back?
Yeah.
This is from The Wrap. Sources in somewhere have told The Wrap that Olivia Munn is in final talks to come back to G4 for its relaunch.
Oh.
Man,
She's like
I'm
so.
typing this and it's making me physically ill.
She's like so 2004, ish.
I'm sorry.
that's
I'm
right.
just I'm a little
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
nauseous. Just give me a second.
All right.
I
well,
would feel bad if only because that would be a sign. She's been in a lot of high-profile acting gigs, and to
Mhm.
go back to G4 feels like a step down.
Well, I mean, what else what has she been in recently? It may be that, we all know what we are. We just have to find
Yeah.
our price. And, if
She
they
was
want to
in-
bring Olivia Munn back and pay her a lot of money, I'm sure she'd do it.
That's
Can
true.
we-
She was
can we-
in The Predator, which is an awful movie through no fault of her own.
Yeah, she was in one of my favorite movie series that got canceled called The Newsroom, which was a
Yeah,
fantastic
That was a while ago, though.
series. I know, it was such a good series. If you want to watch a serious series, The Newsroom is so good. So good.
I think she was in
It's
Ocean's
one of my
8
favorite series
recently.
of all time, hands down. Oh my god, such a good series.
Can they
Uh,
bring back Morgan instead? That'd be
Morgan
better.
Webb. Oh, I'm sure she's
I'm sure they've asked her.
I'm sure they've asked her. But I mean, thing is, I don't know if gaming has evolved to understand that there are enough smart women who are true gamers and they don't need to get spokesmodels. But clearly, G4, whoever's doing it now, hasn't gotten the
well,
memo.
part of that also might just be that she's an old name from the show, so they want to bring back familiarity to it before they evolve and move on.
Yeah,
Possible. It's
I'm sure they've asked
probable.
Kevin Pereira. What is he doing? What would he be doing
Nothing.
other than this?
Nothing. I don't think Kevin Pereira's done anything. Somebody
Oh.
IMDb that shit. What has Kevin Pereira done, and what has Olivia Munn done in the most?
Well, admit, Olivia Munn at
There
least
we
has been
go.
acting.
Guy on the IMDb for Olivia Munn. Yeah,
Yeah.
she has been acting.
She was in. So at least she's been doing some. I haven't seen Kevin Pereira's name in a long time.
Yeah.
Huh. So I did remember, if you're still curious, the last
Yes.
bit about the Avatar is that Netflix was pushing to age up the cast of characters and make it less kid friendly and
So
more
make
like
them not teenagers and young,
Okay.
and
and
like 12, 13-year-olds, but make them 20 and 25.
yeah, more sex, blood, violence, like typical series that
I-
we've been getting. And
I
they're
can
like,
see
no,
that because that's very much in line with Netflix's MO.
yeah, and they're like, no,
You
we
mean
want it to
Stranger
be aimed
Things?
at kids.
Stranger Things, like, yeah, those are kids, but like that's a dark ass fucked up show.
Right. Exactly. Why would they, if they're clearly they can make a serious show that is interesting to both children and adults using children, why wouldn't you want to do that?
The issue is more the darker themes. Like Avatar at its core is a kids show,
Mhm.
and it's aimed towards kids, but it's done really well, and it doesn't talk down to them.
Well, speaking
Whereas-
about that, Andrew, did you guys watch the Lost in Space, the new one?
Yeah,
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
I liked
did too.
season 1. Season 2 was just
I'm sorry, I'm getting
so over the top. But like
Oh,
Andrew, like you were
sorry.
saying, it
coming
got
back up
dark.
again.
It was dark compared to the old Lost in Space. It really
Yeah.
was. And so maybe you're right. Maybe that's the way they're going. But I enjoyed it to a
they
point.
want to make a Stranger Things. That's what they want. They want Stranger Things for Avatar, the last Stranger Thing.
and that's something they're hard against because again, they want it to be kid friendly.
Yeah,
And
that was the whole joy of that. It
Yeah.
was so simple and so easy, and yet
Mhm.
so interesting that you don't have to have all of that. Avatar was sort of dark. Even the original series, there was a lot of peril, a lot of danger.
well, they handled like hard concepts even for kids. Like they did not talk down to their audience, so even adults can enjoy it.
Right.
And it's really well written. But yeah, I could see, like, as a creative director who was promised control, if they were pushing for that and they were kind of hard on that, I would leave. Like, I would not compromise what amounts to probably my masterpiece.
Right. Especially if somebody makes what this sounds like to be is a complete departure from what the original series is, the purists are going to be pissed. And some people, like I said, some people may like it, whatever it is, but they don't want their names attached to it. And let them go find somewhere else to make it so that it is not doesn't happen on their watch.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are all just, there's rumors, obviously. They're being super cagey about why they actually left, but I can see Netflix.
What if they put Olivia Munn on Avatar? I'm just thinking that might work. It might work.
Are you trying to give me
It could be. It could. Yeah.
Are you sending me into an ablation?
We can find a role for her. Just age up one of the characters. It's fine. Just one. Just her. Just the character.
Just her.
Yeah, just her.
Her and a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
A bunch of 13-year-olds, and then and Olivia Munn playing
Like 90120.
Sokka and what's her name?
Yeah.
Katara. Yeah.
You remember 90120? They had the one girl, she was like 40 years old playing a high school kid on there. It was hilarious.
So anything else?
Whatever happened to Shannon
add?
Doherty? Is Shannon Doherty still around? She making movies?
Who?
Shannon Doherty.
She is not well liked in the movie world.
Oh, they should put her on that show. Put her on Avatar. Shannon Doherty and Olivia Munn coming to Avatar.
happened?
Boom.
I did not.
Boom.
Well,
Yeah,
she was on,
she left a wake of people that were like, "Oh wow, she's a real bitch." Both 90210 and on Charmed, she got booted from Charmed.
she literally got murdered in Charmed, which was a show about three sisters having a sisterhood. And they're like, "We're gonna replace you. Like, we can't replace people in the show, but we're replacing you."
Right. She was hard to work with. She didn't. Yeah. So, any other and there's Shannon Doherty's IMDb.
Okay.
Wraith, I love you so much.
Not related to gaming, but just because I love Ryan Reynolds. He has a mobile company called Mint Mobile, and he recently launched a streaming service called Mint Mobile Plus, because, you know, in this day and age of tech companies need a streaming service to stay afloat and, you know, stay relevant. And the only movie on it is Footloose. Or no, Foolproof, my bad.
Yeah, Foolproof, yeah. Which I guess was an early Ryan Reynolds movie?
Yeah, early 2000s, about a bunch of kids who want to plan, or who are planning multiple heists, and they never do it. And it was straight to DVD, and it's in standard def on the website.
Oh, wow.
And there are multiple like versions of the plate for it.
Yeah, you should look up an image of the service.
What's the name of it?
Mint Mobile Plus. Just like a plus sign, like Disney Plus. And just because I love Ryan Reynolds, it's always worth a shout out.
I just watched 6 Underground a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Fantastic.
That was a fun movie.
It was fun. It was hilarious. It was action. It had it all. Me and the wife watched it. We laughed the entire time. We loved it. It was old people. We thought it was funny.
It's a good action flick. I just don't think it's
no more movie cliches. That's it. No more movie cliches ever. they had these one-liners every time they would do these jobs.
There it is. Ryan Reynolds starts new video streaming service with just
scroll down. See if you can find another image. There's a great image of the Foolproof movie done with a bunch of different type fonts that look like different genres. Like it looks like it's an action movie. It looks like a romantic comedy. They've done up the cover in a different way to make it look like different movies.
Let me see if I can find
it. Question. If you guys were to start a live streaming service with one movie, what movie would it be?
I have no idea.
What are the movies that I've got in there?
Movie.
You know what? I know exactly what mine would be. I would start it with The Raid, and I would add only like really great martial arts action movies. Like, if you just want to see people getting the shit beat out of them in the most brutal and amazing ways, sign up for my streaming service. It's only going to be martial arts movies.
It has to be the one though.
Yeah, one movie. If you okay, it's got to
The
be
one-
Nick's
then-
streaming
then it'll
service.
be-
TV
then it'll be
streaming
The
service.
Raid.
We got one game. We got one movie.
Yeah, there you
go.
One movie.
That's what's on the website.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, so definitely
I love
deserves
the
a shout
Mission
out.
Impossible one.
Yeah.
What would be my one movie? God, my one movie would be the original Bedazzled, circa 1965.
Okay.
Hilarious, horribly dated, and it's just worth every second of it.
Oh, I have another one. It is going to be, I'm going to create an exclusive James Bond streaming service, but it's only going to have the Sean Connery, what was the, You Only Live Twice, I
Yeah.
think, which is the one movie that's not technically part of the James Bond canon because it was produced by someone else and is actually a remake of an older James Bond movie from a guy who was like, I've got the rights to this one James Bond story. Fuck you, Albert Broccoli. I'm gonna, the production guys behind it, I'm gonna make my own James Bond movie with the original James Bond while like Roger Moore is making another one. And I think it flopped and like whatever, but it's gonna be the one technically out of canon Bond movie.
Okay.
That's
By
what
the
it's gonna
way,
be.
AC Wraith has posted a link for Hiya TV.
Hiya TV.
Oh no, Nick!
What?
I am looking this up right now. Hiya.
Oh, is this my streaming service?
Yep.
It is with Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa. Oh my god.
It is a real streaming service. Hiya TV. Martial
Oh
arts,
shit, it's only
Asian action movies channel.
it's only $4 a month. That is crazy. You know what? I signed
How
up
do you
for
find this
Shudder.
stuff?
I signed up for
He's
Shudder.
AC Wraith. He is a link god.
I figured this out. Okay, I figured out that AC Wraith is the internet. He's not a real person.
He's just a
He
bot.
is an AI. He is the internet. That's how he finds things so fast. Hey, can you tell me how many peanuts Sean Connery ate in the first James Bond movie? Boom, he comes up with it. He ate 19 peanuts in that scene. He is the internet. He is. He is the internet.
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe
There's
that's
no other
I stopped
explanation.
watching a lot of the Shudder because there just wasn't too many horror movies on there I wanted to see. And that's $8 a month.
Yeah,
I could get
looked into
this
that too,
and
yeah.
be half the price.
And it's got everything: iPhone, Apple TV, Android, on Roku, on Fire TV.
On Roku, ooh, it's even got, I'm at the site. It's even got like cool South Korean crime dramas, which is the best.
Oh,
North
yeah.
Korean
Green
crime dramas are the best.
Killzone. Oh shit! This is good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This. Oh yeah! Give me more.
You've made you've done some things to Nick, AC.
Nick is beaming right now. He looks
I
like a
know, look at
swimmer
him.
Yeah.
fresh out of the pool, you know?
I'm looking at this being like,
called
oh yeah,
Kick-Ass
this is the
Women.
movie I've wanted to see.
Oh, Machine Girl. I've seen the different.
It-
Machine Girl.
Oh, Machine
Guess what,
Girl.
Edie? They
Tokyo
have
Gore
Tokyo
Police.
Gore Police.
Greatest. That's the movie I want streamed. My one movie I want streamed all the time. Tokyo Gore Police. Such a great movie.
We saw that on an Xbox Netflix party.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. I love that movie so
That was
much.
one of the worst movies I've ever
Nick,
seen.
Is that the one that had the commercial and the TV showing you how to cut yourself? They were
They
selling the
have
knives.
Machine Girl. They have Tokyo Gore Police.
Ugh.
Oh wow.
White-haired witch. Oh, this looks good. I'm liking this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For we might actually have to have a viewing night here. This looks awesome.
And it's Haya. It's called Haya.
HayaTV.com.
Oh wow.
There it is, right there. I just love the name too.
Yeah, hi.
perfect. They know what they're doing.
Yes. Oh, yes, they do.
The internet comes through again. He really does.
Yeah, man, this is even. I might
Look
definitely
at all the
have
books.
to.
Doom
look at this.
Book.
Goats, grandmasters of all techniques.
Oh.
They even
Savoring
have this movie
General
up in China
Yang.
Sea.
Saving General Yang. Sounds like something I had at the Chinese restaurant.
They have all the horror movies too.
Yeah, they've got.
Ooh. But here's the kicker though. Are they subtitled or do they have
Get it?
English dubs?
Kicker? Sorry.
I want to see if they English dubs or not. That's the problem. If I got to read the captions, I can't do movies. I have to listen.
Well, let's see. Was Tokyo Gore Police? I can't remember. Was that subtitled?
No, don't pick that one because we've already seen that one. Pick a random one and just see.
Okay. Let's
what it
see.
has.
The Villainous. That looks good.
Yeah, and what does it say?
Assassin.
What are the options on that?
Only I can hear it.
Yeah, I'm looking at a trailer.
It should
Come on.
have some kind
Load
of
up.
like show. Ooh, wow, look at this. That's pretty good.
No, yeah, the villain
That's
is
gonna fry
good.
my brain.
Oh, this is one of the ones they did like with a GoPro. Like,
No, it was
That was-
only for that scene. Only for
Okay.
that scene.
Nope. It's subtitled.
Okay, subtitle.
Oh, so there's no English dub. That's gonna be tough because I missed the movie because I do too much reading.
This looks awesome. Okay, I am totally in on this. I'm totally in on this.
I wonder if you can get a group rate.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to see if they will advertise on our show.
I know, a 4-pack, yeah.
oh, Edie, start making commercials again. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no. My making commercial days are over. A game for Goalie and a service for Nick. Sorry, I didn't bring cupcakes for the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Yes.
You only brought things for 2 people. You can't
I will
bring
take
something for
cupcakes.
everyone.
So what we're saying? Oh, DJ Phil BT Collins says Misfits of Science would be his movie.
I've never even.
Honestly, anyone who's listening to this, I'd love you to throw like comments down of what your one movie would be.
What
Like,
would be your one movie if you had your own streaming service that played one movie? What movie would that be? Yeah, it's hard. Whether it be Machine Girl or Tokyo, I think it's going to be Tokyo Gore Police. That one I think was superior.
if
to Machine
we're
Girl.
allowed to be trolls, I'd go with Rubber. I know.
Rubber?
The tire
it's a-
movie?
Yes.
But that one's
is-
actually good.
No,
How
that
is
is a
that
terrible.
troll?
That is a terrible movie.
That is that for what that movie is. That movie's better than it has any right to be.
It is. It is a.
It's a slasher flick about a psychic tire that goes around killing people.
It is absurd. It is a masterclass of absurd.
It's completely absurd. Yes.
Like it's not even like that doesn't even do like it justice. It's not just a slasher.
I see you got the
flick.
red band too. You're going hardcore.
Oh, this is Rubber 2.
No,
This
it's
is the
trailer
trailer.
2.
Oh,
Trailer
okay.
2.
Yeah, just
So I don't even know anything about this movie. What is this movie about?
It's about a psychic tire that goes around killing
Yeah.
people.
I heard
no,
it.
that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And then there's a group of people following it for no reason. Like
Yeah, there's like
I
an in-movie audience who's watching this happen and like a narrator narrating it.
Yeah. You know, I heard this took a good year to make.
Okay, that's pretty good.
A+. But yeah, it just starts with a bunny. Just boom.
Bugs.
Oh, this.
You guys got a yes T-shirt on. Who wears a yes T-shirt?
I still have my Yes T-shirt.
Yes, you do.
No, I mean,
This
See, it's just. But like, the audience isn't even a part of the story. Like, none of the actors that are interacting with the tire interact with the audience.
Yeah.
It's so. Oh my
Because
god!
they're it's the audience. The audience in the show is like us. No, this movie's good.
Okay, so
I
all
am
right.
pro. I'm Nick Denicola is pro rubber.
We all hope so.
That joke was just waiting to happen. I just
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know how it was gonna. It's a matter of if, it was when.
Mhm.
All right. So AC Ray says I'd want to write my own. I don't know, AC Ray.
He is the lawnmower man, though. He is. He's a lawnmower man.
That
He's
would be a
trapped in
good
the internet.
choice. If you want a troll option, that's a good one.
All right. So any other news before we close out this show, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, one last thing. This is
Okay.
just more of a kind of crazy thing. So you know the game Dying Light,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a spiritual successor to Dead Island.
Right.
They're coming out with a new DLC, and
Okay.
it's 6 years later, but it's called Hell Raid, and it's kind of weird because in game in the hub area there's going to be a arcade machine that basically opens up to a dungeon in hell that you're going to go through, and it's going to be full of demons and undead skeletons, and you're going to fight medieval weapons like battle axes and all that jazz. And you're just going to basically be going through like dungeons and clearing them out and killing stuff. And it has nothing to do with zombies or anything that's going on with the game. It's just going to be basically a new skin of the Dead Island mechanics. And it's weird to say the least. So apparently the company who made Dead Island have been wanting to make the game Hell Raid for a long time, since like 2013. And it just keeps getting put on hold. So apparently they were like, well, we have all these assets and stuff, so let's go ahead and just put it in Dead Island. Or Dying Light.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It looks actually fun. It looks fun.
oh yeah, I love the game,
Yeah.
but this is just like 6 years after the game has been like released, several years since the last DLC.
It almost seems like this is their way of making like a new game without actually making a new game.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is.
It's like a pet project almost, you know?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
listen, games DLC that had absolutely nothing to do with the game is what Fortnite was.
That's true.
You never know how these things happen. Fortnite broke that mold that the DLC doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with the game, and sometimes it surpasses it.
But
that's a good catch. I like that. Dying Light, Hell Raid, nice job.
But yeah, just wanted to mention that.
The only thing that sucks is I was watching that trailer. Is now that I'm in my old age, first person games now I have a problem playing.
Really?
And back in the day, I loved first person. I grew up on Ghost Recon on the original Xbox, and I couldn't play third person games. I liked my first person games, and now I find I get some motion sickness when I play first person.
When was the last time you changed your glasses?
These are fairly new.
Oh,
like
okay.
Year
All
or
right.
two. Yeah.
Because I mean that I've hit that stage now where I have two sets of glasses. I have my game playing glasses, which you can't tell the difference between the two, but these are my game playing glasses. And these are my computer screen glasses, and I can't do a computer screen with these glasses.
These are the progressive lenses and whatever. But I just find that the Modern Warfare 3 that I told you I was playing, that was third person. And I think the Black Ops Call of Duty 3 was first person too. And I got through them okay, but there was a couple of other games that were first person. I was like, whoa. You know, so that's why I'm glad games like Skyrim and even Star Wars Battlefront, they allow first or third person. It's just having that person in front of you to orientate my eyes really does help lately.
And Nick, how's your vision? Mine's good. I'm
I'm
doing great.
2020.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
I'm
Good for
actually
you
like
guys.
2030, but it works out.
Andrew is just trying to pad this show at this point because we are at 2 hours 58 minutes
No.
and 13
No,
seconds.
I actually have a legit other news story.
All right, let's
Yes.
get another news
Yeah.
story.
I haven't gone 3 hours in a long time, you guys.
It's becoming a regular thing.
There is a leak that suggests that EA will be putting out a remaster of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on November 13th, 2020. That's how specific the leak is. It's from an Amazon UK page.
I wonder what's going to be on that. What's going to happen on that day?
Which I'm very excited for, because that was probably the best Need for Speed game of the past 10 years, which is fitting because it came out 10 years ago.
And did Andrew mentioned? Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I did. November 13th.
November 13th.
Yes.
Which is the date that some people are opining is maybe because of other leaks that have said that may be a release date for.
And look, it's fitting
Xbox?
that the PS4 and Xbox One released with a bunch of HD remasters.
Right.
We may as well keep that trend going.
Right. So, I mean, does anybody want to take a bet? The 6th or the 13th?
I'm going to go with 13th. Bit buns.
I'm going to go with the 13th.
I do think the 13th is... but the 13th... Oh, no, that's August. Was November. That's a Friday. That makes sense. You know what? Just to be contrarian, I'm going to say the 6th, just to be...
Okay.
All right, so Nick said the 6th. Edie said the 13th, and Andrew said the... I'm going to go... yeah, Bob, I'm going to go with the 14th.
Oh, Nick. It's going to come out on a Saturday, really?
Yeah, I'm going to bid 401.
All right. I get it. I'm with you. So you pretty much have the rest of November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, tons of leaks, and enough leaks out there right now that makes me think that it might be sort of intentional. What are you looking at?
The 3-hour mark.
Oh yeah,
Has
we
anybody-
hit it.
has any-
We're 37 seconds ago. We were at the 3-hour mark.
Has anybody heard yet if they're remastering Skyrim for the new systems?
Yes, probably. I'm just gonna.
I would think probably.
I'm gonna lock it in.
No,
as yes.
they won't need to, because the systems will be backwards compatible, and they already remastered it for the current gen.
I think
they're
they should
going to
remaster it again.
Yeah, no, they will. Literally no changes, except it's gonna like pop up with PS5.
That's true. That's the only change, and you have to pay $60 for it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So anything else, gentlemen?
Actually, kind of on that topic, I did see that they announced an Ultimate Edition of Control, which would have all the DLC in addition to it, and they said it will launch for current gen systems and next gen systems, but there will not be an upgrade process. So if you buy it for PS4, you will have to rebuy it for PS5. So there is no,
sucks.
there is no special upgrade there.
And especially when they have said, "Oops, I put that in the wrong spot." Especially when they have said that, like that. Oh, God dang it! When they made a big deal about how that's a big thing for the Xbox, is that they don't want developers to do that.
Yeah, I imagine at this point it's a publisher thing, because that's published by a kind of lower tier publisher. 505 Games does not have the same resources as EA. And so I imagine they were just like, yeah, we can't really afford to do this.
And I'm guessing
it's not just Control, it's the Control Ultimate Edition.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to play that edition that you get for PS4 on PS5. It just won't have any of the.
Yeah, I mean,
upgraded
the version of Control I got, I will technically be able to play on PS5 because it should be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
But it's just, the upgraded version will be an extra cost.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Do you think that what they should do in the future with games like Skyrim is that when you can buy the game, you can buy the special edition, or you can buy the super gold edition, which covers you for 2 more systems. So you can buy the game for PS5, PS6, and PS7. Buy it all in advance. That's what I'm
true.
thinking, right?
They'll no longer they'll no longer make new games, just upgrade old games.
So,
it's a live service game.
I'm thinking $120, right? So a game is $60, but if you buy the 3-pack for the next 3 systems, you buy 2, you get 1 free. So you pay for 5, you pay for 6, and when 7 comes out on that system, Skyrim will be free.
In 30 years.
In 30 years, it'll save you $60 in 30 years.
Buying for the future.
And if you think about it, that's a good idea because depending on who you are, and who, your age, when you purchase it, you may not even be around for the release of 7.
Not if I have none of those procedures. I'll be around for 6.
Yeah. Think about that, Nick. I may not actually be alive for PlayStation 7.
I mean,
I won't be alive for PlayStation 8.
Hey, a bus could come through that patio door any minute.
No, but I mean, there's there's
Sony
a good
might
chance
not
I
be.
will not be around for PlayStation 8 at my age.
Yeah, let's say each console takes 7 years.
Let's be honest, Edie. Like with PlayStation 8, you'll still be doing this podcast.
That's true.
I hope somebody will be doing this podcast. I mean, shit, it's been around since the PlayStation 3. PS3?
Me and Nick will get phased out, and you'll have a couple 20-year-olds on
Just
here.
be done by robots. It's all going to be AI at that point.
The
It's a
AI
whole
will
thing.
take it
Yeah.
over.
You will be my age, at least,
Yeah.
if not
By
older.
Well, there'll be
PlayStation 8,
holograms of Edie and myself, just holograms of us.
That's like 20. That's about 20
Kind
years.
of like Wash in Firefly. We're just going to be sitting there going,
That's all right. We'll be here.
Mm-hmm. We'll replace you with an AI. We'll do a machine learning to go back and analyze all the previous podcasts to learn your personality
God,
and recreate you.
oh, man, can you imagine the poor AI that would be like the data bank, the database of bad puns that would needed to be created in order to have an AI goalie?
Nick sucks.
Oh no,
Nick
it will.
sucks.
It will just look at his history and it'll come up with its own bad puns.
They'll never be as bad as goalies.
You have enough podcasts.
Aw.
You have enough backlog that I think.
Oh
could
no!
put it
Look,
through.
oh my God! The internet has spoken.
What's VTube?
VTuber maker. You can create
Virtual
your own AI YouTuber.
I've actually seen someone do that.
Turns
There's-
users into a 3D virtual avatar using a webcam.
It's basically like a little anime, like in this case, a lot of anime girls. Like, there's a whole web series about a YouTuber that's done that, and it's kind of hilarious.
Huh.
I am looking this up right now.
This might be something different, but yeah.
Yeah, you create an anime character. I could be an anime character. I am okay with
Yes.
that. Just
That-
run the
that's-
show.
That is the YouTuber that I've seen do it.
Good Lord.
That's-
Welcome to the Game
Like
Hounds.
that's a 3D avatar. That's actually interesting. Is it doing that in real time?
Yes.
Oh, they have
Wow.
some amazing editing software that will make you look skinnier or lighter or darker, change your whole body as you're doing, in real time as you're doing live video.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I just had a thought. Look forward to the far future when they are using this technology to create live action anime movies. When Netflix creates a live action series of Avatar using this technology to make the actors look like the cartoon characters.
That would be so bad. I think we should do that on the podcast one day. Like, don't ever announce it. Just one day we all let up with our own avatars. Never comment on it. Just do a normal show, end it, and then we're just done.
Yes. Okay, you're warned. That may happen.
Shit, how much was VTuber?
VTuber. That's what it is. What is it?
It's free. It is free.
Oh, it's free. Oh, fuck.
And it's on Steam.
So yes.
God. And there's actually, I am looking right now and pulling this up, how to become, taking you behind the scenes of how to become a virtual, how to use the software.
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. May have to review this. All right, gentlemen, can we please close out this show?
I am starving, so yes.
I got a friend of mine, this older guy. He's like, unfortunately, I'm struggling financially with this pandemic, so I'm into the adult toy business. I have walkers, wheelchairs, oxygen tanks. That's pretty good.
All right, gentlemen, shall we close out this show, please? Now.
Yeah, I can't find anything else. Not right away.
All right. Well, then let's close this
Unfortunately.
Hey, Nick, want to talk about Star Wars?
No, God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn you off right now. No, we are going to mute you. You are now muted.
Can I show you my scar?
You're muted now, too. Let's close this out. You're listening to GameHounds episode. They are laughing their asses off on the video stream right now. You are listening to GameHounds episode, or we're listening to GameHounds episode 558, recorded on August 16th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola, Andrew Smith, and a special guest of Holy Goalie. If you want to get a hold of us, it is gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. And if you want to actually watch us live, we are on 3 different locations now. On Facebook, live as The GameHounds on Facebook. You can check us out on YouTube as the GameHounds Vids. That's GameHounds VIDS is in videos. And finally on Twitch as The GameHounds. If you are watching us live in the video, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notifications bell and to like us. Please, please, please. More watchers and or listeners is better. We would appreciate it. Nick, also don't forget to follow us. We are on Twitter, GameHounds on Twitter at GameHounds, and then also on Facebook as The GameHounds. Nick, Goalie, I'm going to unmute you for a second. And Andrew, thank you for being on the show.
What is this?
I've never seen that before in my life.
All right, we'll talk to you all later, everyone. Bye-bye.
I actually bought those at some point.
We're still live on video, by the way.
I remember
That
going
is
to
now
Target
this.
and browsing the cassette
Actually,
section looking for
1,000 of those things are now that.
I have to go eat. I was
I
hungry
have
an hour
to go
and a
eat
half
too. I have to pee so bad right now. Goalie, thank you so much for joining us again on the show. Also, if you're watching us on the video stream, please don't forget that we do have a Patreon. That Patreon is very important. It keeps this video feed going. Without it, we would not be able to do a video feed. All we ask is $1 a month. Seriously, you get 4 shows a month. $1 a month is all we ask to help subsidize this video feed. Please look us up at patreon.com/GameHounds. Thank you. If you are one of our patrons, thank you for being there for us. We appreciate it because you do keep this going. And I guess that's it. Thank you. Also, guys, don't forget, our website, gamehounds.net, and we will talk to you again, I guess, next week. Goalie, thank you so much for joining us.
Good talking, everybody, again.
I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah. I want to pop in from time to time when I can. It's just I just can't do the regular thing as we talked about. So
that's fine. We're here for you, buddy.
Cool.
It worked out today, and I'm still alive to tell the tale. So,
and I still don't feel like I'm in your shadow at all. Like that's not a thing I worry about ever. Like no,
no, you gotta switch it so Goalie's on top and Andrew's under him.
Wait, hold on a second.
No,
wait.
Almost.
No, I'm always up in the
Oh.
corner. There we go.
Ugh.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great weekend, the rest of the weekend, and have a great week. And we will talk to you next week. 2:00 Sunday Pacific, 5:00 Eastern. We'll be here. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.